Hello?
I'm so glad I got that automated because it's like, it's so nice now. I can just wait until it hits 0 and ba-bam! We're good. By the way, quick question. Is that too loud, by the way? Just making sure. Because if that's too loud, I can, or if it's too quiet, I can readjust it and stuff. Just let me know. Right now. Yep, 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 yep. Oh, yeah. No, it's all lo-fi, by the way. Every bit of it's lo-fi, so it'll be all the same, around the same. Hello, Steve. Hello. You know, I'd like to introduce you to the concept of sexual harassment, my guy. Yeah, you should go and you should probably turn yourself in for that one, my guy. Where is my YouTube stuff so I can go and ban you? Alright, there we go. Ban. And bam. And bam. Yo, can y'all can y'all not commit sexual harassment for like 2 seconds, please? It's because I'm also streaming on the Shorts channel, or on the Shorts side, and for some reason those in the Shorts feed decide that they feel like sexual harassment is the correct option for everything. Which is like, guys, what the fuck, man? Like, what? I'm so fucking confused. Like, you're not gonna walk up to somebody just on the street and ask them, hey, show me your tits. Like, what? No. Or you're not gonna ask them what their fucking, how their pubic hair is shaved. Is it clear or is it bushy? Like, bruh. By the way, those are 2 questions I was quite literally just asked in the Shorts channel 2 seconds ago. So yes, we are gonna have to have somebody go and help us with the, I'm gonna need to get somebody in staff to help with moderating the Shorts side, or at least the YouTube side of chat. Because that is gonna get real annoying if that's consistent. Hello! Hey Rebel. Hey guys. Welcome. I'm currently in the process of setting some stuff up still, so give me like 2 seconds here. No, you wouldn't be able to, Mari. You wouldn't be able to, Mari. It's fine. A lot of the times that kind of stuff requires you to go through and like, yeah, it's, yeah. It's some bullshit to say the least. Some absolutely fucking bullshit. Where's my thingies? I need to go move you into, I think it's gonna need to be moved into here. Yes, we're gonna move you into here. Go grab you. I had a, so I've been setting up a thingy on my end just so I can go through and have like multi-action switches and stuff. So what I can do is I can go through and set up a audio thing so I can disable audio on your end as well as disable audio on my end separately. All within OBS, and I have a bunch of music playlists and stuff that I can enable and disable on my own that like all shuffle and like do random music and stuff. It's great. The problem is that I need to make sure that that all does not affect you guys and you guys cannot hear it because a lot of it is anime music and I don't want to get smacked with the DMCA. So to avoid that, I've been trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to organize this just to make sure that we can set things up properly. Yeah. Also, for those who think that sexual harassment is the best way to get attention and or ask people out and all that shit, keep in mind that I have sent people to hospital personally over that shit, so yes. I have 0 issue with that. Also, most other women have 0 issue with sending y'all to the fucking hospital. For that shit either. And by the way, legally speaking in North America, it is fully legal too. Yeah, sure, I can turn it down. I can turn it down. Also, for those on the YouTube side, you guys won't be able to hear the music. It'll only be on the YouTube side or on the Twitch side. Just because on the Twitch side, it doesn't hit me for fucking shenanigans. Y'all, never being able to find a job, by the way. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, effectively, yeah. Where's our chest? Also, using a name online doesn't mean that you're protected, by the way. Just as a heads up. Unfortunately, the law does not care for your own privacy when it comes to that kind of stuff. You very much can go through and entirely destroy you that way as well. Because guess what? Twitch, YouTube, Discord, they all have to obligate within the rules of the law, or operate within the rules of the law, which also means that if y'all decide to go and be a little funky, they can very much give up your personal information for that stuff and can be used in the court of law and shit. So yes, welcome to bullshit, guys. Oh, let's find music for streams. Oh, that's why. That's why I fucking moved it to the wrong another folder. That's why I couldn't find it. All right, that makes more sense. All right, now we're good. Subpoenas are so subpoenas are so fucking funny. Granted, for those who have no idea about how insane this actually is, keep in mind a subpoena isn't necessarily needed to find your info, by the way. You can find it through other means too. Just keep in mind that you have to be very, 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 very thorough to not have any of your public information or have anything traceable back to you. Luckily, I was taught how to do that when I was younger, but a lot of people aren't. And oftentimes, if you think that's a funny thing to do, you probably don't either. Where's our chefs? Okay, where is the rest of this? I was thinking about going running the oh wait, hold up, it's an interception. Hey Steve, is that a good RB? Hold up, Steve, is this a good RB? Oh no. Please tell me this is a good RB, right? Steve. Oh, have you? Oh shit, oh yeah, we should run it then. We should run the RB. Yeah, we should run it. Yeah, sorry guys. I may or may not be stupid, and I may or may not have gotten really sidetracked. But yes. But yes, we should run the RB. Does anybody else want to join for the RB, by the way? Because if anybody else wants to join for it, feel free. Okay, so there's a bit of a funny thing that we're going to be doing for the RB that is kind of going to be a little bit required for what we're doing. Keep in mind, Steve has a very specific way of doing this. Just let him do his thing. Do not capture all I gotta say is don't capture all 4 of the targets, like all of the different locations. It is sugars. Yeah, so basically the tech for how Steve taught me the tech for this specifically is how we do it is that we go through. Steve, you're not even, wait, are you online? Yeah, you are online. Okay. Is that what we do is we capture 4 targets, and then what we do is we keep ourselves 1 to 2% above and ahead of the enemy. That's it. The entire game. And while I do understand that there's going to be a whole thing there where it's going to be like, okay, cool, we're going to have some issues there. Yeah, we're going to be getting a shit ton, and I mean a shit ton of Vitus Essence out of this. Because the interception missions are the Vitus Essence farms of the arbitrations. The defense missions and the disruptions and stuff are all for getting drops on like the treasures and like other things like that. But if you want to get Vitus Essence, the interceptions are one of the best missions for it. No. If you want to, so if we're all running, that actually is fine. For the for drop trans, yeah, or for doubler, yeah, you should. Because the drop trans boosters are party wide, so I already have one, so you don't need to worry about that. As long as you're in a party with me, you'll have that. But you will not have a resource doubler. So that's what you'll need if you want to have like a bit of a better time there. Also, make sure that if you're gonna be doing anything, make sure that you have a beast and that it has the resourceful retriever, this right here. because these actually can be doubled again by resourceful retriever once again, so we can actually go through and take it even further. Yeah, also double cider 9 is more than okay. Actually, I'm pretty sure we all have the exact same build going on right now. Double from bar. Oh, you got it. Okay, perfect. That's awesome, actually. But yeah, that'll be our way of like running that in the background. But yeah, it should be okay. Should be good. Hold on, I'm thinking about something in the background here. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna double check something. English, backstage music. Backstage music can only be heard on the 6th. Okay, cool. We're good. I don't need to worry about that going in hitting with the DMCA then. We're good. For those who don't know, last night I sat down and turned my YouTube, or not my YouTube, sorry, my OBS into a music playlist player. So while you guys are going to hear one playlist, I'll be hearing a completely different one. And I have buttons and automations on the side here that let me go through and do it all without issue. Which is really funny that you can do it in OBS, but yeah, it turns out VLC Media Player, the most goated fucking thing on the planet. I don't even know how it's that goated in the first place, but yeah, it's awesome. Actually, hold on, Matrix, before you accept that, can I finish making some food? I have a bunch of food being made in the background, and it's gonna be ready in about 2 minutes. Me being the dumbass that I am is I woke up at 9 instead of 8 this morning. I didn't have time to make food, so I'm just making food in the background here. But yeah, I just want to make sure I can make that really quick. Wait, wait, hold up. VLC Media Player was made by a student? Actually? Wait, hold up. Wait, actually? There's no way. Fuck. Oh, the guy's based. Oh, okay. So the guy who made VLC was a student and decided to like, okay, the dude's just based. All right, cool. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That works. Apparently he also went through and actually refused multi-million-dollar corporations and stuff where they wanted to go buy it off of him, and he just said no because he wanted to keep it open source and free for everyone, which is like the most based way to go about that, by the way. Like straight up, like genuinely speaking, the most insanely based way to go about that. Also, I need to go through and actually finish off getting my sculptor ready and stuff. So I need to go finish making my sculptor better. The problem is we're gonna need another 11 of them to go do it. So it should take us like what, 22 missions, 21 missions, something like that, to go through and do. Which is gonna suck ass to do inside of the Orion and Sirius thing. Because like when we go through and mess around with it a little bit, it's gonna be one of those things where you only get 10 of one resource for these stuffs, and you need 10 of each, so you need to go through and get one, or you get 20 of each in CFS, so you need to go through and actually do it twice to get it, so you can go through and get them built and stuff. Though keep in mind, if you want to go through and actually get one of the best platforms in the game, it actually is just going through and grinding out those relics right now, Sculptor specifically. Because Sculptor goes for, I think it's like 8 to 10 platish each at rank 0, so that's pretty good. Also, food is ready. I'm gonna go grab it. Pew pew. Also, no. Okay, food acquired. We're ready to go. Alright, let's do this again. You guys just don't have tempo. What are you guys? Oh, you guys are talking about the build? Okay, I see. Alright, I'm ready. Well, I'm about as ready as I could be for this mission. Granted, I don't know exactly how useful it'll be in this mission, just purely for the fact of we have 2 Cyto 9 builds. And, yeah. Arcane Tempo. Arcane Tempo is it's a operator arcane, I believe. Or, hold on. It's this thing right here, Cry. It's this thing. Arcane Tempo. On critical hit, 15% chance for fire rate on shotguns. Which is probably what he's using for his, Streffers. You have a spare? Well, granted, you do actually have spares of literally everything. So yeah, it's fair enough. It is a-okay. Also, how long do we have until this clears? Okay, 43 minutes. We'll be fine. We'll be okay. Oh, my Jeebus Christ. Also, I got a Quadro Affinity Booster yesterday. I woke up this morning, or was it yesterday? Yeah, I woke up last night and I went through and got my daily boosters and stuff, or my daily booster. And it became an Affinity Booster, and so we got a thing here. Oh yeah, Maru. Matrix is one of the few players that you'll see who's like in the... There's probably only 1,000 at most. Maybe actually closer to 300 other players in the game that play like Matrix does. His inventory, when you saw his inventory for his arcanes, is nothing compared to what his inventory looks like for other stuff. I don't think there's a single person I've ever met in this game that has that many items in their inventory. Yeah, no. Yeah, Matrix is one of the few people that I would actually classify as a god among men inside of Warframe. As much as I go through and glaze him, he actually is a god among men when it comes to this shit. Here, actually, let me just take you guys to my dojo. I'm gonna take you guys to the dojo and then I just have you guys there so that we can go through and like have you guys just do your trade there. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. There you go. Yeah, that's what I mean. So you guys can do the arcane tempo and do your trades and stuff, and we can go through and do the other stuff after that. But yeah, I'll get the navigation working and stuff. Also, the navigation from dojo is actually kind of nice. Not gonna lie. Interception. Since you don't use secondary on Siren, you can now use Grimoire. Yeah. See, the thing is that I have no plans of actually using Grimoire. You want to know why? Because I do use my secondary. It's the fucking Akiko. Like, unironically, the build that I have for my Siren build is like the best combination of all of my weapons in the game. It's literally every one of my favorite weapons in the game in one go, in one single loadout. And the reason why I don't necessarily use my Akicore too much is because I tend to use it more for targeting specific enemies, which I know is weird to say for the Akicore, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah. But yeah, most of the time I don't need to use it, so.
It's been 3 weeks.
I actually do have to clean my room again. Sorry, my bad. To do it like tomorrow or something. Or maybe later today. I've got some stuff coming on. And I can go through and actually clean my room tomorrow. I have a Rick, you know our conversation yesterday when I was talking about being able to hotspot between mics and stuff on stream? Yeah, so I may or may not have bought another DAC. Or I may have gone out of my way. So now I got a second DAC for it's just the so I have the M Audio Duo and I got the M Audio Mono. Because I have the Duo using for my 3DO, for my ASMR mic, and then I have my Mono that I'm going to use for my Shure SM7B. And that way I can go through out of my way just to have both ready. And that way I can just press a button and hotspot between the two. It's great. Is that a good idea? Maybe not. It's going to be funny though? Yes. But also I know that the M Audio gear actually works really well for me. So like I have no complaints at all about M Audio. I'm not sponsored or anything, but they are actually really good. they're also relatively cheap. Like if you guys are in the US and you guys need a DAC, the M Audio gear is like $50 US. About that, yeah. You could probably find it for like 45 or even $40 US. And it works. This is what the audio quality sounds like on an M Audio, by the way. Like it's really good. Oh, no. No. It's more of an issue of my desk is literally like, it's wires everywhere at the moment. Like there are literally wires on every position on my desk right now. It's not bad per se, but it's not ideal. Hey, Steve, which ones do you want us to take over? Which two of them do you want us to take over here? Because I know that you have an idea for what you want to do. I just don't know what ones you want us to take over and stuff. I just need to know which two, and then I can keep those two safe. Actually, maybe it would be better for the two center ones here. Also, the reason why I say that I might actually not be useful here is because Steve has a Cyto 9 build that's built specifically for Arby's. And then everybody, I think, yeah, so we have multiple Cyto 9 builds that are built for Arby's in this mission, as well as I'm chilling over here with a Saren that is actually less effective, funny enough. Even though I can go and basically one-tap level cap with this, I'm actually less effective than Steve and the others, just because of how Stuffs works. The effectiveness of my own build is my weakness. Whoa, oh, you're taking that one? Okay, cool. A similar mixer that I bought. Impulse drinks studio closing. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you can get a better mixer than the M Audio, do it. The M Audio is just a really good entry level one for anybody who's like looking for like a really easy like entry level where you can just like plug it in and play, basically, because it is really just plug and play. You take one switch and you just flick the switch and you're good. That's all it is. It's so nice. One of these days I'll go through and actually set up an explanation for how to set up XLR audio and stuff. Because I've noticed that whenever I mention it, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but it requires like a bunch of software stuff. And it's like, no. A lot of the gaming headsets that you see that require software don't actually need them. It's really weird because they'll go through and say like, ah, yeah, but we need the software. It's like, no, what are you talking about? Most like studio level, anything that's like studio level, like most of it does not require software. And the stuff that does is more of like, you know, those like inside like the studios where you see like 1,000 faders and they've got all those like those knobs and stuff. And they're like entire walls of like audio gear. Yeah, that's where you start getting into actually needing the software. Because all the software does is points one audio thing to those faders. And even then that's not necessarily true because you can also get those versions of those things where each one of those faders is corresponding directly to a individual audio piece too, as well. Which is even funnier because you can have them all have XLR inputs and then you have one output for the entire machine. Which honestly is another way that bands go through and actually set that stuff up, which is actually really cool. I want to get one in the future that's like a smaller one, just for myself so I can have like 5 audio XLR inputs or something. Just so I can have all of my audio being audio, like hardware audio done. The thing is that going through and actually doing that might actually be slightly difficult though, only for the fact of those usually cost about like $4 grand. They cost a lot. Okay, I'm back, I think. Yeah, okay, cool, I'm back. We're live! We return! We return from the abyss! I don't think it's ever time to come back. No, you're good. No, you're fine. It's not you. It's not you, it's me. I fucked up. Again. As per usual. Did we take over too many of them? Oh, did you just want to cap three each round? Okay, cool. Yeah, so the mixers and stuff, when you go through and like the hardware mixers and stuff are actually really nice to have just because they actually do save a lot of time. Mainly just because that way like it's a hardware level stuff. So you actually don't need to worry about like say like software crashes on you or PC crashes or like whatever. It's built into the hardware itself, so you actually don't need to worry about like faders or anything like that breaking on you. And say there's the software incompatibility. Yeah, that's not an issue either. It's so cool. Hey, thank you, Amy. Or Army, thank you. Wait, Chris. Your name's Chris. What the fuck am I on about? Your name's Chris, not Army. What the fuck am I talking about? Alright, we return to the shenanigans. To be fair, I'd like to point out that I may or may not be doing some stupid stuff where all of my stuff is all plugged into the same wall socket. Lesson learned, I'll just need to go through and move it to the other wall socket, or one of my PCs to the other wall socket later. Oh, really? Okay, that works. That also works. Meow. No, 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 no. Okay, we'll just do 3 of you. Okay, also, by the way, guys, this is unironically going to be a very slow... Wait, hold up. No, actually, we're making a decent amount. We're making a decent amount of shenanigans. We're good. We're fine. Aha! I actually managed to find a group! I found a group before you did, finally. Holy shit, that took forever. Well, more actually, it took me 7 minutes to do it, but yeah. Which I know was not that long, but in the grand scheme of things, in a game with Steve, yeah, 7 minutes is change. Is it actually a 16 input mixer? Holy shit. Wait, is that all hardware level or is it software level? Because if it's hardware level, that shit is... That normally would cost you like something like 10 grand. Like easily 10 grand if it's hardware level. All hardware? Yeah, no, you found like one hell of a deal for that shit, my dude. That's not bad. Not bad at all. That's honestly nice. Damn it, I wish I was still living in the same city as you because then I'd go fucking find that place and buy it or grab it myself too. Because that's actually not bad. Like at all. Granted, it's kind of nice that I'm actually out of there though. Just because that city is a little creepy. Don't think I need to explain that one. Yeah, it should be fine. For the record, guys, Arista and I live like relatively close to each other. We're like relatively close to each other. So like pretty much we sometimes we'll just end up talking about shit. Just know it's because we live like close enough to each other that like we could get to each other within a drive kind of thing. Yeah, we're effectively neighbors. So just, yeah, just be forewarned that it's like, if you guys ever hear us talking about stuff and it makes 0 sense, it's because we're effectively neighbors. But yeah, it's fine. He actually lives in a city that I used to live in for quite a while. It's funny too, because we actually graduated around the same time too, so we might have actually met each other in high school, but didn't actually know it. The city's small enough that that is actually a potential. Might have, yeah. No, the reason why I say that though is because the high school that I went to, Ariston, we actually went to, and I was a part of a thing where we used to go through and to a bunch of different other high schools, and we used to take part in events with other groups of high school members and like other things like that. So there's a pretty good chance that I probably would have either seen you or at least met you somewhere during those events, if you had taken part in those events as well. Because there was a, yeah, it was a lot of stuffs. I'm not going to say anything else other than the high school that I went to, Ariston, was also, they had like a Christian high school right next to it. There was, so on the left side of the building, there's a high school. Middle of the building is a library, and then on the right side of the building is a Christian high school. That's enough info to figure out where I went to for high school. I'm not going to explain further because I don't want to dox myself. But yeah, welcome to bullshit. No, 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 no. Partook in several. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a pretty good chance that we probably would have seen each other or at least met each other at some point. Max lived in a house next to mine, but never knew each other for 17. Actually, holy fuck! Now that is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that is actually pretty cool. Though slightly depressing, but also pretty cool. Oh yeah, that should be fine. Should be okay. Being at 40 Vitus Essence in 10 minutes? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. 4 Vitus Essence a minute. Ow. Hey, Steve. I'm gonna need y'all to like... I'm gonna need you to tell me more when these arbitrations show up, because getting 4 Vitus Essence a minute is getting us a lot of Vitus Essence. We're gonna be rich in Vitus Essence later. Also, can we just talk about the amount of Organ cells that we're getting out of this too? Holy shit, man. Just depressing in the sense that you guys could have met a long time ago, but just never knew it. That's all it is. Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. If I can ever find a deal like that, for anything that's related to that in any capacity, that's gonna be like immediately what I'll grab, because I want to go through and have a hardware mixer on my end. Even though it would make it so that like a lot of the peeps that are doing software stuff are on the software side, if we ever have to go, like if I ever end up going through and having peeps help me control stream and stuff, whenever I'm live. It'll be one of those things where they'll also have to just take part and actually be here physically with me during streams, which will be funny. Just because, well, you know, I've never actually had a physical audience for this shit. It's always been like digital, so that'll be funny. Having people work with me physically will be an interesting time to say the least, at least in the studio. Believe it or not, it's actually not that hard to actually manage a stream. It's just really the hardest part of being on stream, which mind you isn't hard. It's just being entertaining, and that's it. It's just that when you're, for the plans that I have in the future, it'd just be nice to have somebody that can go through and help me manage the more streaming side of the things, just to go through and actually take care of like all of it. What are we doing? We're doing arbitrations. That's what we're doing. We have made 52 Vitus Essence in 12 minutes. We're making some bank today. Absolute bank. But yes, it's more of like it's one of those things where it'd be nice to have just in the future, so I don't need to worry too much. I moved too far away from you guys. Sorry, that's my bad. Also, I'd like to point out something really quick. This is actually not the best Vitus farm that we've ever done. We've actually done better. This is actually a slower one. If you do the proper arbitrations and you have the proper builds for it, you can have some of the most insane Vitus Essence gains in the game. The problem about that though, that you actually need to go through and actually have the proper build for it, and that's where the real expense of getting these things ready can come into play. Not necessarily a bad thing, but can take a bit. All I'm saying is, well, no, you've already told me where you live, my guy. I don't know your exact address, but I know where you were. Unless you're talking about where the place to buy it is. In which case, based. Thank you, appreciate it. Sorry, hold up. I gotta go reset my diaphragm for a second here. Give me like, yeah, hold on. There you go. Formal holding me back, but I'm saying, my saying is too squishy still. Oh, that's fine. That's okay. I mean, to be fair, the squishiness of your build, it doesn't actually matter as much as you think it does. Like, for example, my Saren currently, if I get hit twice, I die. That's it. GG's. At any level, pretty much. If I get hit twice, I die. So, like, I have... My Saren is very squishy. It's just that I use I use shield gating to make sure that my Saren can survive. Pretty much everything. Also, the best defense in the game, unironically, like the worst defense in this game, or the best defense is unironically just killing the enemies before they can actually see you. Which is why having 2 different Cyto 9s in the same mission is actually pretty good, since you can go through and clear off most of the enemies that way. Which is perfect. Oh crap, we're a little bit behind here, guys. We're a little bit behind. We might have to go capture a 3rd one. Arcane Grace. Yeah. Hello. Oh, by the way, it's also really funny because if you can get enough people to kill everything across the entire area, you can also get it to where, I don't know if you saw it there, but there's multiple drones in the same spot. That's actually not uncommon if you kill them fast enough, where you can actually get them to spawn in the same spot over and over and over again. So you can actually get them to like continuously just spawn, and that's how we're doing this, is that we're just killing them faster than they can spawn pretty much. And that's why we're getting so much Vitus Essence, and that's what you want to be doing for this specifically. Hewwo, how did that go? Yeah, duckos are great. I need to go. Oh no, you know what I should do? I should try to see if my dad would want to go bring Bert, the Bertle, to go through and actually do some walkos with him. We're gonna be going through and mountain biking this weekend sometime. I just don't know when. He said that you'd text me. Which is very ambiguous because I have no idea what that means or when that's gonna happen. But yes. So he's gonna text me sometime and we're just gonna go mountain biking at some point. I'm feeling it's probably gonna be tomorrow. But yeah. It's gonna be a good time. Just so we can go through that. It's too bad because we can get the Bertle to come with us. That'll be good. Just go for a walk and stuff. That'd be nice. Keep an eye on my phone. Oh no, there's a pretty good chance that he'll probably just text me tomorrow, or he'll text me later today saying like, hey, do you want to meet at this place at this time tomorrow or whatever? Because I have a really bad habit of not being ready for shit. Even though somebody's like, oh, you should be ready for this thing because they're gonna text you right away. It's like, no, give me a day. Give me a day. Guarantee it. I need a day. Always a day. Ooh, nice. 80 Vitus Essence in 16 minutes. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. All of that's going straight to Kuva, by the way. I do not give a fuck. It's all going straight to Kuva. All I know is that my text is gonna be hefty since the week's Monday was a holiday and I'm officially. Well, yeah. No. See, even better though, is that since you get triple rate. Oh wait, aren't you getting paid like something like 40 an hour if you're getting triple rate? No, 50 an hour, aren't you? Like you're getting paid the same amount as a fucking lawyer if you're getting triple rates. Because like that'd actually be pretty good. Kuva. It's going all straight to Kuva. Kuva, like the stuff that you use for your ribbons and things. The Kuva addiction is real, and I need more Kuva. So we're gonna be going through and grabbing like 1,000 Kuva if I can, or even more actually. Close to 72. It's close to 72. Holy fuck, man. Yeah, you better not fucking quit that job, by the way. You better not quit that job, because like you're working a ridiculously easy job for what you're getting paid for. That's nuts. Like actually crazy, my guy. Holy shit. Knock on the door. No, you can't do that, unfortunately. Dad actually doesn't. So the way that in this job market, I'm quitting this job. What? Oh, I'm not quitting. Yeah. Okay, I was about to say like, hold up, are you having a stroke over there? No. Yeah, no, you better not fucking quit that job. Being paid 70 an hour for being a warehouse worker is nuts. Like that is actually insane. Keep it. Yeah, no, this is a even like in Canada, that's like a very abnormal kind of job, by the way. Had a college who was taking weekend duty every week, and because I got paid 2 times, so ooh, that's not bad actually. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're also working in a bit more of like a skilled sector though. Like you have a bit more skilled labor. So where is it? I guess it's skilled and unskilled. So the way that I usually talk about jobs, guys, for the record, is that I usually talk about skilled and unskilled laborers. And the reason why what I mean by that is necessarily not that it doesn't require a skill to do a certain job, it's that it's just that you don't need to go get a degree for the job. And so the stuff that Code is doing specifically does require a degree or at least some kind of education in the field. What Ariston is doing does not, as far as I'm aware. From the explanation that I understand is that that's the case, is that you do not need a degree for what you're doing. It doesn't make it any less awesome though. What is that warehouse? The alien artifacts in Indiana Jones? Honestly, at this point, no, he just found a really good job. Like honestly, he just has a really good boss. Because like, as it stands right now, homie just found a really good job that pays him a shit ton, and honestly, pretty cool. It's not bad. Yeah. Just need to make your point 1 point neutral. Yeah, that should be fine. Honestly, we could probably go through and actually feather this even further if we wanted to. Keep in mind though that the way that we feather this is going to be a little funny. But yeah, this is 100%, this is the end game for arbitrations to a degree. We could probably go through and grab like a wisp or something to make it a little bit better, but like wisp would only like be like a marginal increase that probably wouldn't be noticeable here. And the only reason why I say that is because the acid shells from the Sobek are enough to actually cover for most of what wisp would be doing anyways. So it's like pretty minor issues. Hence the AoE beatdown that we're doing to every possible enemy here. Oh, do you? Oh shit. Oh, so yeah, no, we're good on the wisp front then. Actually, hold on. Even better. Let me do something even better here. Hold on. How about a second wisp? Here, how about a second wisp? There you go. We have one wisp per location. Oh no, that's what we should do. Hold on, Cry, can you put your wisp on the other node? So I'm gonna put my wisp right here. Can you put your wisp on the other node that's over here? Just so that we can go through and have like wisp on each node for the ones that we want to keep permanently. It's not yours. Then who else? Whoever's got that wisp, can you move it over here? Just so that we can have one wisp on each node, and that way we at least have something protecting it, because that would actually be really nice to have, just generally speaking, just so we can have at least a marked location for each of the chefs that we're doing, which would be fantastic. My current company gives stocks as well. Yeah, well that right there, Code, is mostly just because you're working in that sector. A lot of the times when you're working in the tech sector or anything involving coding or server sector and stuff like that, they actually go through and give you stocks in the company. The thing about that is that the reason that they do that is also so that so that if you want those stocks to function, you also need to go through and it basically incentivizes you to make sure that the company goes through and succeeds. Not a bad thing, by the way. It's actually a really good way to succeed, incentivize people to go through and do it. But also, that doesn't work for companies that are not publicly traded. Like, for example, like when I go through and actually like set up like the company outside of being a sole proprietorship, and I go through and actually build it into being like an actual proper company and stuff, I don't want it to be publicly traded. I refuse to, mostly just because like having investors and stuff, unless they're angel investors, if you guys don't know what that is, you should look it up. They're actually really cool. Purely so that we don't have people influencing it who don't know what's going on. Because I would rather have it so that people who are a part of it actually know what's happening and what's going on, rather than having it be one of those things where we have people that are completely unrelated to the thing coming in and being like, oh, you better fucking do this, yada yada, or otherwise, and all this shit. It's like, no, we're not playing those games. No, I want to be Steam. That's what I want to be. You know that Steam is owned by one person and only one person, right? They're not publicly traded. Like Steam is not publicly traded, by the way, guys. There's one person and only one person in charge. It's Gabe. Granted, he does actually listen to other people and he takes advice, so he's not the only one who's like currently making decisions for it. But yeah, no, it's not publicly traded. It's 100% people who know what's going on and how to take care of the company are the ones who are taking care of the company. And that's kind of what I want to do. I don't know who BV is. Rick, I'm sorry to say, I don't know who BV is. But yeah, that's the whole point of like why I want to do that, is for that exact reason. It's just so I can avoid the whole issue of like dealing with that. But also, for those who don't know who angel investors are, they're basically investors in companies that just invest in a company because they love the idea of what the company is doing, and they don't respect a return. Basically, what they do is they go through and invest in a company to make sure that the company can succeed, but they don't do it for the return of the amount of money that you can get in return. That's all it is. Which is effectively just donating to companies, effectively, is what it is. A decade is generous, Code. That's if you're lucky. Like, really lucky. What the fuck was that? Yeah, they really do just do it for the love of the game. They genuinely do, which is awesome. What the fuck is this spread in items? No, because private investing would still require you to have a return on the company, and which would require that the company goes through and still pays you for it. So private investing, no, still would not work. And the reason I know this is because, do you guys know Star Citizen? CIG, specifically? The company CIG, which runs Star Citizen and makes Star Citizen. They are a privately invested company. And they've actually gone bankrupt on multiple occasions, purely from having to pay their investors, because of that. So, you know, private investments do actually make you an income regardless. It's just that the private investments happen to be where you agree to let people invest, and then they also make money off of those investments. That's how that works. It's just that it's a lot more strict in that in those regards. So there's a bit more there. Yeah, investments and that, like the business side of investments and stuff like that, is also a very complex thing, and it's one of those ones where, unless you've either dealt with being around investors or been taught how to deal with businesses and stuff, I really wouldn't worry about understanding it and stuff. I got lucky enough that a lot of the stuff I know is because my ex-mother owned a business, and she actually went through and actually taught me all this stuff. Granted, I can't tell you what it was. But yes, so it's one of those things where she used to work with a lot of people that were pretty rich and were like investors and or people that were going around and doing a lot of other things like that. But it's one of those things where if you could, I wouldn't really get into the whole running a company, like owning a company that's publicly invested, purely for the fact of you very much can be bought out and you can be taken out of leadership as well. Because somebody can just, if you're publicly trading a company, somebody can just come through and just buy the entire company under your feet, by the way. It can very much happen and has happened in the past. That's also why it became such a huge thing when there's Saudi Arabian, or was this? Yeah, Saudi Arabian dudes were going through and buying a lot of shares in different companies and stuff. Like one that owns one that owned all of the like Elden Ring and those Soulsborns and stuff. Yeah, or I think it's Namco or something. I think it's called. It's very weird. For Tesla, I actually don't know. I don't pay attention to Tesla since it's owned by Musk and he's a literal like stain of on the human race. So like, I couldn't care less. So I haven't paid attention to any of this shit. Katakawa maybe? Maybe? I don't remember, but that's why it was such a huge deal when they started, like there's a bunch of Saudi Arabian investors going through and buying like 30% and 40% in chunks in different companies and stuff, is because they actually can go through and influence the company, even if they know nothing about it. And if they were to go buy 100% of the stocks, they would just straight up own the company at that point. You can just buy out a company that way. Maybe, it might have been Katakawa then. Because I know that there's another one where they went through and did that, and they bought out the company that owns, or bought like 30% stake in the company that owns and makes Marvel Rivals. If you guys know that, one. I don't know the name of the company, but I know that they did that for that as well. But yeah. So yes, welcome to bullshit. Natesi? Maybe? I don't know the name of the companies. I just know how it works. That's it. Bandai Namco. It might have been Bandai Namco. No, Bandai Namco is owned by. No, but that's a Gundam though, isn't it? Yeah, Bandai is Gundam, unless they just do the same thing, in which case based, but like... Oh, Bandai... Wait, actually? Wait, but isn't Bandai also... What the fuck? Interesting. Or you do in Ubisoft and buy 30% of your own company after handling it over so you don't go bankrupt. Yeah, that's another way that you could also do it as well. So it gets really confusing, and that's why just publicly traded bullshit is not my thing. I'm sorry to say. I'm not touching that. I'm okay. I'd rather not run the risk of somebody else go through and just be like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna buy out your company real quick and bye-bye. Get out of here. Because I'd rather not put an insane amount of work into a company and then just watch it fall apart because somebody that was richer than me decided to go through and like destroy the company because I was making them mad, which I have a really good, like a really, really bad habit of making the rich really mad. Granted, it's kind of like my living purpose to go piss off the rich, but we're not getting into that right now. I mean, we could get into it, but it's not hard to explain. I basically just have a vendetta against the rich because I do not like when I say rich, by the way, I mean the people that make over $1 million a year. That's what I mean by the rich. I don't mean the people that are like going through and like can own a house. No. I mean the people that can like make over $1 million a year, minus Gabe, and Jack and or Mark. Those three are fine. But like outside of that, it's one of those things where if I can like annoy the shit out of them and make them mad, I will any day of the week. I don't know Emiru. I don't know anything about her. The only reason I know Jack and Mark is because I used to watch them when I was a kid. And yes, I say when I was a kid because I was 8 when I started watching them. I mean that literally. I was 8 when I started watching. They've been streaming almost my entire life. Like they've been making content almost my entire life at this point. Yeah, they're also my dad's age, which is also fucking hilarious. What? You're not making $1 million a year, my guy. Unless you are, in which case based. I don't exactly hate you though, because you're not a part of the problem. You're just over here chilling. You just happen to have a lot of money. It's fine. There we go. What's the other gal? I mean, there's the Elvea Sanctuary, which is another thing like Maya from Elvea Sanctuary, which is she's pretty cool, but she also doesn't make a lot of money. She runs a non-profit for the most part. Like most of what she does is go through and like make a non-profit. That's what it is mostly. Ow, my guy, why the hell are you throwing? Oh, thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Most popular girls on Twitch going eat the rich. Oh, yeah, no, never heard of that, my guy. Granted, I also have had zero interest in social media my entire life. Like, genuinely speaking, it's never been something that's interested me. Because I already understand most of how it works, and it's just I don't care about it. I dealt with enough of the political games when I was a kid, so like I'm good. I don't want to be brought back into and pulled into politics constantly or used as a political pawn anymore, so I'm good. Most of what I'll do will be roasting and or what the fuck, that was close. Yo, could we not cut it that close next time? Yo, guys. Matrix, is it cool if we not pull it that close? Because that is, that's a yikes, my guy. That is, being a 1% off? Yeah, no, cut it. How the fuck would you cut it closer? Some investment company bought shares in Katakoa. CEO of the company was famous for investing companies to go market, not PC or console. Oh, yeah. But I don't know if they're Saudi Arabian, though. They might have been some other company from the Middle East, though. I wouldn't be surprised. Social media is more of a social cancer in the year of the Lord 2026. I mean, to be fair, it's not necessarily bad per se. It's just that a lot of the times, a lot of the media that you guys see, or that is usually pushed to your front page, is usually negativity. A lot of it will be negative and stuff, and so that's why I don't really personally care about the whole social media thing. Like, as a streamer and somebody who makes content myself, it's funny to hear some like me say that I don't care about social media, because this is literally how I make my money. But I mean it in the sense of like, I don't really care about the whole like going through and doing clickbait titles, or going through and like being like, oh, I'm gonna focus on drama because I want to make the most. No, because if you go through and focus only on drama, you're gonna build a community that is nothing but negative, and like you're gonna end up building a community that's looking for the drama constantly. And I'd rather not do that, because for one, it's draining, and I've had enough of that. I don't want that. So that's also why. Because I'd rather build a community that's a lot more just. My philosophy is anytime you can take a nap, take a nap. And that's how I want to live life, is just taking naps. It'd be great. Not caring about anything else, just naps. It's a great time. Some point, what you talk to. There's big social media companies. What? Code, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what any of that shit means, but I'm assuming it's probably because I think I understand it a different meaning. But yes. Yeah, it's a whole thing. No. Guys. Guys. Are we good? Are we okay? Are we gonna fail? No, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. I think we're good. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're keeping it up. We're keeping up. We'll be fine. But yeah, that's about it with me and I tried. Well, no, that's fine, Arista. You're good. Study is what state you're most likely to be by crap, but how you get into the... Oh, because it's marketing shit. Yeah, I don't care about that shit either, by the way. Like, I do a lot of things. Like, I do actually have commissions that I do, and I do a lot of work outside of this, outside of streaming. It's just that I don't really market that, and I don't market the work that I do, because for me specifically, marketing is kind of bullshit. Because if you really want to go through and market shit, don't make ads. The best way to market things is just build a community. Like, unironically, like the most successful marketing tactic that I've ever seen work is building a actually functioning community. That actually is able to maintain itself, which is like genuinely probably the easiest way to go. Well, not the easiest, it's actually one of the more difficult ones, and why people don't tend to do it. But it also is something that, like, if you're looking to market stuff, just build a community. It's the easiest way to do it. Or not easiest, but you know. There was a Dutch influencer who started a fake rumor with it saying what the story was in like storm in less than 12 hours, and it's not resolved, and it was fake. Well, no, it's because a lot of the times, Rick, as long as you have a viewership, and I mean anything above 20, like on average, if you have anything above 20, you have to be very careful what you say, because at that point, a lot of people will see that as intimidating, which I find that as bullshit, because what are you going to do with somebody who's averaging 20 viewers a stream? Like, what? Homie. But like, yeah, I've run into that quite a bit, where a lot of creators and stuff will just like be intimidated because I have an average above whatever number it was at the time. I don't actually pay attention to my averages though. And so a lot of the times, you end up running into a thing where people will just believe everything that's said. And that's also why, like, I tend to push back on things, especially if I don't believe it or I think something's off. And which you guys will see that a lot, is where I tend to go push back against things, is because a lot of the times it's just not worth believing everything that you see. Sometimes it's just for the bit, I'll end up playing along with it because I think it's funny. But yeah. Just say the creator and the target was like 3. What the fuck? What? Huh? Wait, but why are you trying to cause drama between creators? Solve it behind the scenes. Don't solve it by... My guy, if you're gonna have drama between creators and shit, solve it behind the scenes like an adult. Don't fucking go through and actively pull your own community who have nothing to do with it into it. But this is why, like, I will talk about my personal experiences, but I won't tell you who was a part of that. Like, at all. I won't name names. I won't tell you who was a part of it. I won't actively go out of my way to, like, let you guys know who, like, was the cause of certain things, because, like, it does nothing else but cause conflict, and that's not what we're here for. Like, what? Like, causing conflict is the exact opposite of what an entertainer should be doing. I really don't understand that philosophy. For aggressive promotion direct. Well, yeah, the directing goods at towards children and stuff is also very much a huge thing. It's because a lot of streamers tend to, especially if they're streamers that are trying to make a lot of money, more than they actually need, happen to also go through and do a whole thing where they just won't care. They lose their ethics after a while. Think like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. If you guys like the Logan brothers, or the Paul brothers, I guess. Yeah, the Paul brothers. If you guys want to know like a masterclass on that, take a look at the Paul brothers. They are a genuine like masterclass on that. They have actually ended up in like lawsuits and stuff over it. That's why I'm talking about it, is because they actually have ended up in lawsuits, and this is actually pretty old news, by the way. This happened like years and years and years ago. Point uses Mon specifically as his product into the game. Oh, that, I mean, to be fair, adding see, the problem there is that like that becomes a legal issue of less of like promoting and doing advertisements, and more of him modding his own product into somebody else's product. And that's where that becomes a bit of a problem, because if you're using somebody else's product to promote your own without their own, like without that person's permission or the company's permission, that's also a lawsuit in its own right. Because like that's a whole other situation in its own right, and I don't need to get into that whole issue right now. But yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, that's also why I don't promote myself, nor do I go through and talk about like being child friendly, if you guys have noticed that. All of my shit that I do is 18 plus. There's not a single thing here that is designed for children, nor should there be anyone under the age of 18 here. Because like I don't promote my stuff to be for children. And that's why I do it, is so that I can talk about shit. And like go around and have discussions like this with you guys, because if I have discussions like this with you guys and there's children around, I can't do that. Not effectively, because a lot of children just don't have either the life experience or the knowledge to be able to have conversations about this. I really wish I could actually like be fine with that, but also at the same time, morally speaking, I'd rather just not have children around, because that comes into being accidentally, like that could be put in danger and stuff, and I don't want that. So Nomada is not as much of a problem. Going, oh, this thing, let's grab it. Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean though, Code, is that if you're using somebody else's product to promote your own, that could potentially bring in a lawsuit if you don't have the permission from the company and or creators of that original product. As much as it may not seem like an issue, legally speaking it is. Also FOMO is... Don't get me started on FOMO, my guy. Don't, okay, we're not gonna get into FOMO, because I used to work with a company whose entire marketing tactic revolved around the concept of FOMO. Like everything that they did was FOMO related, to a degree. And it was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I just, no. Once I figured out exactly how bad FOMO was, it was just like I cut ties with them almost immediately. But better because targeted to 18. No, actually the stuff that the company that I was working with was also targeted towards pretty young people as well. I just didn't realize it at the time. So yeah. For those who don't know, I'm talking about Gaijin. I'm talking about my previous partnership. I was a partner with Gaijin for 2.5 years. And Gaijin's main marketing strategy for all the stuff they do is focused entirely on FOMO and targeted towards children as well. Mostly teens, which is where that goes into. Mostly teens. Where is our chef here? But better because yeah. But yeah, FOMO in general is just one of those things that, like, while you can't eradicate it completely, it's better to go through and actively try to make sure that you can try to minimize it to the best you can. It's also why a lot of the times when I do streams and stuff, guys, I actually hold and keep a schedule for the most part, sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But like as it stands, like I do actually go through and hold a schedule specifically to help reduce that likelihood of FOMO and stuff. But I do the same for the Patreon as well. All of my content on the Patreon, well, actually used to be non-paid. I'm actually thinking about going through and making the Patreon streams and stuff paid, just for the fact of having other content outside of what I do here, but also so I can also make a little bit more extra cash on the side. Because it would be nice to actually not be at a point where I'm debating about what kind of food I can buy, you know? So I could actually be at a point where I could actually afford stuff. But yeah, it's one of those ones where like being at a point where I can be financially comfortable is where I'm just headed to a point where I want to get to that point. But once I get to that point, I won't worry about like the whole like making money after that, because like I can live off of, for those who don't know, I can live off of about 2k a month and only 2K a month. I don't need more than that. I mean, to be more comfortable and be able to do more stuff for stream and be able to do things for you guys and have an easier time to go through and like actually set up, like, for example, getting editors so we can have more content on the YouTube side, or getting artists so we can have proper art stuff going, or like getting new models and like new designs and like all that stuff. Like, I'd need more than 2K a month, but 2K a month is what I need to survive, nothing more. And so like a lot of people tend to go through when they're streaming and being like, oh yeah, I need to get like 8K a month, and it's like, what are you doing with 8,000 a month? Like, personally speaking, how do you even get to a point where it costs you 8,000 a month to live? Like, if you need 8,000 a month to live, I think you need to like rethink your priorities there, my guy. But yeah. Tax? No, tax doesn't matter. I'm talking about North American creators here, Rick. And by the way, tax is done based on the tax bracket here. So a lot of people, so for those who don't understand tax brackets, and this is something that I can guarantee you at least a few people don't know, and I'm so sorry for those who did not come here for a financial lesson, but fuck it, we're going to talk about it. Tax brackets, at least here in Canada and the US, the way that they work is that you're only taxed on that income above that level. So say that you make, so for example, for me specifically, I've never made over 23,000 a year, which is considered the minimum amount of money, or the minimum amount of money that's non-taxable in the country. So I'm considered in poverty since I don't technically pay taxes. But there's the other side of things. If I can live somewhat okay-ish off of less than 23,000 a year, but also on the other hand of this is that if you go through and start looking at like getting up to like 50,000, 100,000, if you're making 50,000, you get like a 5 to 10% tax, I think, on it. I think it's 5%. It's either, no, I think it's between 2 and 5%. 50,000. Once you get to 150,000, I think it bumps up to like 5% or something. But it's only that 5% of that tax is only between the $50,000 and $150,000. The first $50,000 that you make isn't taxed like that. It's taxed between 2 and 3%. So a lot of people, when they see tax brackets and being brought into the new tax brackets and stuff, or like all that stuff, they see it as being like, oh, but you're just adding another % tax on top of all of the money I make that year. That's not how that works. Yeah, that's not how that works. Because like generally speaking, when you go through and take a look at it, you actually, the taxes and stuff are actually quite fair. Especially considering the fact that you don't actually feel it. Like, you'd be really surprised with how much money you can make before you like actually start to feel those taxes. And a lot of people tend to go through and like complain about it, saying, oh, but I'm being taxed like 10%. Yeah, but you're also making 150,000 a year. So what are you doing with that other 135,000 that you have that you're making a year outside of those taxes? Like, you see what I mean by like, you don't really necessarily feel it per se. And say you're going to go through and start making that kind of money, and like you like go through and somehow manage to like burn through that amount of money in a year. My guy, if you're complaining about having to deal with that, like that much taxes, and you're still making that much money, we got other issues on our hands than just that. Yeah. But the reason why I say 23,000 is because that's personally what I know as. I think it's like 22 or 23,000, because I've never actually had to pay taxes. Well, I do. So what it does here in Canada, at least, is the way that our taxes work is that you do actually pay taxes. But the way that it works is that at the end of the year, when you do your taxes and you do your tax returns, you actually go through and get all that money back at the end of the year. So whatever you paid in taxes, they just give it back to you. For me personally, I see it as an extra bank account, but that's not how you should be seeing that, by the way. Like, you should not be seeing taxes as an extra bank account, but that's how I see it, because that's how it goes. Also, if you run a small business, like if you're doing like commissions, or you're doing like a sole proprietorship, or you have like any kind of like small business, and you make purchases for that business, or even better, if you really want to get into it, if you use part of your apartment or your house for your business, like say, for example, I have a studio that I have here in my apartment, and so I use a certain percentage of my apartment for what I do here for work, tax-wise, for work. I don't consider this work. I consider this a hobby and or just something I do for fun on the side. But like, I can actually write off portions of my rent for those taxes, because like I can just write it off on my taxes because I use it part of my apartment for the work that I do. The same thing with like, for example, like any kind of hardware, software, or like say I commission somebody for a model. Yeah, I could write that off as taxes because that's part of, or for my taxes because that's part of my business. It's a business expense, which is really cool. That you can do that in Canada. I don't know how that works elsewhere, but in Canada specifically, that's how it works here, which is really cool. Which I'm fairly convinced will, mandatory retirement fund. Oh, mandatory retirement funds, I wouldn't necessarily. So they are a thing that you could potentially try to do, but unless you're making like, above like 200,000 a year, I wouldn't really worry about it. And the main reason why I mention that is because like you can put money into it, don't get me wrong, do so. Do what you can to put money into it. But if you really want to make sure that you can have a proper retirement fund, find a way to build a passive income that you can just make outside of what you're currently doing for a job, because that'll be a much better retirement fund, because then you can go through and have not necessarily just a passive income, but that income will also grow as time goes on, and so you can keep above inflation and like be able to make sure that that retirement fund, under quotations here, is able to maintain itself through inflation, which will be a massive help for you through time, is what I'm actually going to be doing. And that's why I'm currently working in the process of trying to build a business, is because that way the business itself will actually be my retirement fund. It won't actually like, I won't have to worry about retirement, because what the hell is a retirement anyways? Like, what are they going to do? Stop me from working? Good luck with that. I enjoy doing what I do too much to want to stop. And even if I were to go through like, oh yeah, I'm retired, that would mean that you can't really make an income to get that retirement fund. You can't make over a certain amount of income for it, and it's just like, it's not worth it, man. Like, I'd rather just go through and just continue working, because it's like, man, that shit's a lot more important to me than anything else. It's not that I do or do not put in the funds, it's that I have to put it in. Oh, yeah, because code, I don't know if this is how it works where you are, but here in Canada and the US, the retirement fund that you're putting money into is paying for those who are currently retired. And dependent on how much you put into that retirement fund is how much you make off of it later. So like when it comes down to that kind of stuff where, yeah, it goes to the current retirees. It's not that it goes into like a direct bank account that you end up making money off of, which it can sometimes, which you can have, and you can set that aside here in Canada, which is a separate thing. But the retirement funds that you end up having and all that kind of stuff is also just something that's going towards paying for the current retirees, not for those who are going to be retiring in the future, is what that is. Also keep in mind that that is to my current understanding of it. If you know how the rest of it works, please tell me, because I'm not an expert on this. By any means. Like, as much as I wish I was an expert on this, I did not go to school for this stuff. I was effectively TLDR homeschooled on this shit. Because my ex-mother was the one who taught me all this, for the most part. Well, not necessarily. So, well, I do understand that the suspicions of that gonna be, like, that it's gonna fail is there, and I can see why that would be a suspicion. Not necessarily. So a lot of the times when we go through and take a look at how our economy is doing, think about it. If they can keep the retirement fund running right now in an economy that's almost worse than the Great Depression, if we can manage to get our economy back on track and back, like the global economy back on track to what it was before, and able to get back, like start progressing and getting better again, we won't have to worry about that, because the global economy in itself is already in a very, very dire situation. So if we're able to get that economy back on track and progressively getting better again, I don't think we need to worry about that too much, because it would come down to getting the economy fixed. Well, the problem there is that we need to actually fix the economy, which would require doing some really stupid shit. But as a counterpoint to that, it is very possible, and it is very doable. It's just that we need to be able to get things to work. Poland currently has the biggest deficit in our entire EU. Yeah, well, that's why I say the global economy. I'm not speaking country by country, I'm talking globally speaking. Because if we go talk about the global economy specifically, then it becomes a whole other issue than just like specific areas. Because if we talk about specific areas, you can have like, oh, but Texas is doing really good economically because yada yada bullshit reasons, because Texas doesn't have as many taxes, and because I'm doing well, everybody else has to be doing well too. By the way, I've actually met people that have said that and believe that the global economy issue isn't actually an issue because they're doing well financially, and it's like, that's not how that works, man. But whatever. So that's why I mentioned globally, because specifically speaking, if you talk about the global economy, that's where the real issues lie. It's not necessarily individual, but it is globally speaking. Because yeah, it changes based on location. And overall, the global economy tends to be not doing too well right now. No, this was a guy that was like my dad's age. Funny. That was my dad's age. I've met quite a few people who are my dad's age who live in Texas who have quite literally said those words. Not exactly, I'm paraphrasing because, you know, but, you know. How long are we going? Hey, as long as you want to go, by the way. Like, Steve and I can do this for like 2 hours still. Like another 2 hours, actually. Steve, do you have work or anything else you have to worry about? Because honestly, I'm kind of down to do this for as long as you want to. And if you want to do this for any longer, feel free, just let me know and I'll leave when you leave. How about that? I feel like we were talking about two different topics. Kind of, yes and no. So the reason why I mentioned the global economy specifically and not just localized stuff is because the global economy does actually affect quite a bit. It also affects the overall like housing market, for example, or you've got your retirement funds or public funding for education and healthcare, or you've got other things like that, because the global economy does affect pretty much everything. And that's why I brought it up, is because like while we were talking about investments earlier, it also affects how people invest and how people take a look at like how they want to go through and like build companies or like set up their own businesses and things like that. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but during like economic strife, a lot of people tend not to build businesses that they normally would have been able to otherwise. And that's actually when we need businesses to be built. As weird as it sounds, the more businesses that are built during the economic collapse or economic decline, the better. It's actually how the US actually got out of originally got out of the Great Depression, was exactly that. It's also actually probably the best way to explain, well, one of the major reasons as to why the First and Second World Wars happened, and why Germany, not while being the main reason for it, did end up being the main catalyst for it, was what they were doing is because the Germanic economy during the time was so bad that they literally, like, people were unable to do anything. Like, actual cannibalism was a thing during those times because they couldn't do anything to keep themselves alive. It was the same thing in Russia, by the way. And that's why a lot of countries that are doing that oftentimes tend to go towards like, oh, what's the easiest way for us to fix that issue? Create an enemy and then create a war that had no meaning other than just making sure that we can get our country out of that economic strife. And that's where the whole building their military and like we're building their weapons manufacturing and everything else came into play, is because they were just building jobs. That's what that was. It's because they needed to go through and rebuild the economy, and that for them at the time they thought it was the easiest way to go about it. Which nowadays, as we know, as modern people, we know that that isn't actually the truth about it, and we know that that isn't actually like how you can go about it to fix that issue. But that's how they had decided to fix that issue. But it's just as an example of that. Or like, for example, in the US, what they do, or even here in Canada, actually, the reason why you oftentimes see a lot of jokes about like how, I don't know if you guys ever heard the joke, but like about how Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Kelowna, like they're all always in construction, is because of that reason. They're just creating jobs. So when you go through and take a look at all that stuff, they're genuinely just going through and trying to make sure that they can, one, create jobs, make it so that people have an actual income, and two, making sure that the economy can still maintain itself even in terrible situations or terrible economic times. That's what that is, construction. And that's how they got themselves out of the Great Depression originally, was construction. For the most part. And that's why we have so many like random like stupid builds. And that's where all, actually funny enough, in Europe, that's where most of those random castles or towers and like random like fortifications that are all over Europe come from. It's for that exact reason too. It's because to be able to stave off economic collapse, and during the medieval times they would do the same thing. They would just build a castle, or they would go build a tower or fortifications, or they would go build bridges and stuff like that. That was how they would do it. It's been a thing since like fucking thousands, if not tens of thousands of years, where they just go through and do that for the economy. And that's why like that's why I mentioned that like businesses, as well as just creating jobs in general, is like one of the best ways to get out of economic strife. But that's also one of those things where they do need to go through and start doing that. Deck is stacked. Well, yeah, that's also why I'm saying that is one of the ways that they could go and make it so this deck is no longer stacked against them. Well, that's why I said, while I do understand that there is concern to be had, that isn't like, it's not like it's a valid concern to have, because like while we do see like that our current economy is currently not the greatest, there are ways that we can get out of it. It's not like we're in a point currently in our economic situation where like you can't fix it. No, you very much can. It's just that it takes time and it would take effort. And a lot of times the effort and the time that's put into place for that kind of stuff, a lot of times a lot of people don't want to do that. And I don't understand why not, because it's like, people would be so much happier then. Instead of we get equal medical procedures and... Wait, hold up. What do you mean by EQ? The only EQ I know is required to... It's related to audio stuff. Yeah, because like I don't know what that means. Also, the UBI for Universal Basic Income for children is actually pretty good though. That's actually huge. even if it's like $200, is it per month or just and free? Yeah, is it that per month or per child? Because I can't remember if that's literal. Oh no, so we are thinking about the same thing. Okay, cool. Yeah. But are you talking about the $200 a month per child? Because if that's actually the case, that's actually awesome. Like, genuinely speaking, UBI in itself is insane. They went to go show that UBI as like an entire thing is something that actually, one, makes crime rates go down to like nothing. Like, they just snap your fingers, gone. It's not even a joke. By the way, drug use also disappears. Stress and anxiety almost entirely disappears as well. There is almost no downside to UBI. And that's where it comes down to, like, where in the economy for a lot of countries could actually do it. They've also proven that people actually are willing to work more under UBI than they are willing to work not under UBI, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain that, but it's really cool, the psychological effect that UBI actually has for a lot of people. It's really cool. And it's not just something that was proven in one country, by the way. They've done hundreds of tests across dozens of countries in like hundreds of different cities and towns where they've tested UBI to see like how it would affect things. And yeah, no, there's not a single downside to it. And a lot of people who go through and say like, oh, but people wouldn't want to work anymore. I don't think you understand. But like, those people don't understand that, like, if people wouldn't want to work anymore, then why is it that every single time they've done it in those cities for UBI and other stuff, that the economy actually tends to do better, or the fact that there's actually more people that are working, or the fact that everything tends to be a lot more efficient, or the fact that we actually have better teachers and more effective teaching methods because, well, teachers don't need to worry about their income anymore because they're being paid enough to be able to live. Like, it becomes one of those things where, like, there are ways to get out of it, and there are ways to, like, not necessarily fix, but remedy the issues that we're running into. It's just that it comes down to being one of those things where a lot of times people don't like the fact that it comes down into like taking 5% of the GDP of some countries to do it. And 5%, by the way, is quite a bit of a GDP to pull it off, but the worth that comes out of that 5% is so much more than you'll ever have. I don't know if you've heard, but the idea was good. Execution. Well, yeah, the execution's always terrible. You gotta remember that, like, code, a lot of the times when you run into that stuff, for example, actually, I can use an exact perfect example. Alright, so I'm gonna go and fucking put the US on blast for a second. So if y'all don't want to hear me put the US on blast, mute me for a bit. Hold up. So, y'all want to hear the funniest fucking thing that the US does all the time? And by the way, Canada isn't at fault here, but this is going to be the most common thing that people will know easier because people tend to pay attention to the US a lot more. So here, you know Obamacare, right? Okay, actually, that's a fair point, Ariston, but we're not going to get into that right now. So you guys know Obamacare and or the free healthcare that the US actually has, right? They purposely went through and gutted a lot of the services and or the actual funding for Obamacare and the free healthcare in the US behind the people's backs to make it look like healthcare and free healthcare are actually worse than privatized healthcare. Whereas on the other hand, if you look at any country that has privatized like free healthcare, like public healthcare, it always works. It's always the best thing you could possibly have, or one of the best things that you could possibly have for your country. Because, like, if for one, is people are less scared to actually get help and make sure that people can actually do their jobs better. Two, it goes through and actually, like, saves people, so you can actually have a better and healthier population. But yeah, no, the US has a habit of going through and taking a service that they don't like, that's seen as quote-unquote too liberal. Mind you, that is very much Republican propaganda and or rhetoric. I say this because you can see it on Fox News, and as we all know, Fox News is Republican. I don't think I need to explain further. Not all Republicans are like this, but this is like what the Republican propaganda is like, where they go through and take a lot of the issues that they have at hand, or like the things that they want to go like get rid of. So, for example, they want to get rid of privatized health, like sorry, not privatized, free healthcare for all, and they want to get rid of it. Now, here's the thing: what they're going to do is they're going to go through and strip the funding slowly. And hide it that they're doing it. They're going to hide it inside of bills, or they're going to strip it slowly but surely, and like slowly but surely make it worse. Or what they're going to do is employ people that don't know what they're doing for their jobs, or actively try to make sure that even if they do have the funding, they actually can't get the resources to be able to maintain what they're doing, or other things like that, in ways to make it so that it, to the general public, makes it look like it's worse than privatized healthcare. And so a lot of the times when you go take a look at that kind of stuff, keep in mind that, for example, they did the same thing for the education system. They did the same thing for public like transport, like buses or trains or things like that, where they go through and like get rid of that, or having it so that streets have like things for bikes or like walking paths on the side of streets instead of having like places for people to walk, like, you know, like, because like a lot of the streets and stuff in the US oftentimes don't actually have walkways. They don't have sidewalks. Do you know how nuts that is? Not having a sidewalk at, like, next to a street? Like, there's cities here in Canada, by the way, that have also sidewalks, bike paths, and roads in this same place. Do you know how nuts that is? Like, having a bike path, road, and a walking path in the same area. Mind you, they've proven that it's the best way to go about it because it keeps people safe, keeps people separated, and also make sure that people don't get hurt while they're trying to get places, or just they can go for a leisurely walk and not have to worry about anything. Like, it's one of those things where like, while I do understand that there is like that kind of stuff, but you've also got to make sure that look into the things that people say, at least specifically when it comes to political stuff, especially if they're a politician. Even if there's somebody like Mamdani who looks like who would be somebody that a lot of people would trust, and a lot of people, like, for example, I do actually trust to take care of New York, but I still look into what he says. I go into like looking into the research, like I research into what he's actually doing and what he says and what he's doing behind the scenes, because like, well, there are politicians that could go out of their way to say like, okay, cool, you have this thing that you're saying, but do you actually mean it? You know, that's like live stream one. I mean, we could do City Skylines if you guys want to. I wouldn't be too upset about it, actually. I actually do quite enjoy City Skylines, by the way. Though if I did it, I'd want to get the second game. And the only reason why I would want to get the second game is because it's a little bit better for the way that the mechanics work in the game. And that's it. That's the only reason. But like, yeah, no, that's an issue that like comes into it. And that's also, this comes into the whole issue of like when you look at different services, like for example, like the retirement funds and stuff, there's a very good chance the reason why we're seeing issues with retirement funds or like funding for those who are veterans or those who have been injured in the workplace or other things like that, or those who have disabilities and like injured for it, there's a very good chance that the reason why we see so much stuff like that fail or not do so great is because it's actually planned to look that way. Because like a lot of times it actually doesn't take much to go through and actually have, well, much in terms of the country side of things to go through and have those things function. It's just that a lot of times those who are in power or those who want to go through and like have a different rhetoric or have it so that those who are less fortunate than them happen to have like less than them because being poor is a moral failing, not because of your economic standing or because of what your parents had before you. Mind you, that is actually genuinely a thing that people do believe. I have actually run into people like that, and I do have people in my family that do believe that, by the way. Not gonna name who, but if you're watching, you know who you are. But yeah, it's one of those things where oftentimes when you run into those kind of people, and they happen to be the people who succeed the most in politics because, well, they can focus more on the larger populace and the overall populace and the general person rather than those who happen to be within the minorities. And that's where it really comes into play, is that if you focus more on the general populace and not those who happen to be marginalized or minorities and stuff, you tend to win elections better because you're helping the majority, you're not helping the minority. And that's where the issues lie. There isn't really an incentivization for them to go out of the way other than just for the love of the game, for them to go out of the way for helping those who happen to be marginalized or a part of minorities. And that's why like a lot of the times people like Mamdani tend to be crushed and or try to be removed from politics, is because they go directly against the status quo. But that's also why I'm saying to look into what they're doing behind the scenes as well, is because if somebody does go against the status quo, especially in countries like the US, it's one of those things where you should be kind of worried and or concerned a little bit. Not necessarily in the sense of it's because that's what they're doing, it's because of the fact that they're going against the status quo in countries where it's very normal for those who go against the status quo to be, well, as they say in Russia, disappeared. Works when it comes to policies and incentives. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not hard to understand the policies and incentives. Like, genuinely speaking, it's not hard to understand that. Granted, Code, I do have to point out that I do have a history in politics, and I do have a history in being around people who are in politics. I used to be tied to politicians, whether that be ambassadors, presidents, or prime ministers, stuff like that, for most of my childhood. So for me specifically, I have the history and the family, like the family blood to actually go through and know this stuff. But at the same time, my family blood doesn't necessarily mean anything. The genetics have nothing to do with it, but I was around it as a kid. a lot because of it, because I was directly tied to them by blood. And so I have a very, very different upbringing than most people, I guess would be a good way of putting it. Understanding incentives, especially around my region. Well, no. That's just a general thing. So again, we can get into the whole thing of like, that's just generally a thing. But also, it's not hard for people to understand it if you sit down and actually explain it to people. Because it's one of those things where it genuinely is like, if you break it down, like, for example, the incentive for I don't know, like what would be a decent incentive here? Okay, here, let's go with it. Back on the topic of like talking about how they try to make it so that privatized healthcare is the only kind of healthcare in the US. They probably have stakes in companies that are in the privatized healthcare sector. So what they're trying to do is make it so that legally speaking, only those in the privatized only privatized healthcare can exist, because they want their own companies to do better and make more money off of it, is probably what that is. Or you could go take a look at it as, oh, I don't want the minorities or other people who are less fortunate than me. They won't say that. I'm not going to get into that right now, but not going to say what they actually call them. Or I guess us in this case. What they actually call us, because yeah, that might actually get me banned. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Or those who are in a country illegally. Those who happen to also contribute to society or contribute directly to the economy just as much or more than those who are actually citizens of the country. Trying to say like, oh, but they're not contributing, they don't pay taxes, yada yada. No, actually studies show that they do actually pay taxes. They do actually go out of their way to they actually contribute more to the country than most other people who are a part of the country. Like, I could very easily say that those who are here in Canada illegally actually contribute more to the country than I do personally. But like, it's one of those things where whenever I hear somebody saying like, oh, those people that are illegally here in the country and stuff, it's like, guys, you do realize that they're doing a better job at maintaining my country than I am, right? So what right do I have to complain about them being here? And if you have an issue with that, then sure, find them and then make sure that they are citizens. Because if they are contributing to the country, then what issue should it be that, like, what's the issue there that they should be a citizen? Like, shouldn't be, like, why would you say that they shouldn't be a citizen? Because what? They're here off the books? Like, is that such a crime that you have to get rid of them or otherwise? Because they're here off the books and contributing to the country than like the majority of actual citizens? Like what? Like what do you mean? I don't understand that. Like, come on, man. If you want to actually come up with an actual decent argument, come on. You gotta actually hit me with like an actual argument. Come on. In Poland, we have where people not see the incentive because they take after what they believe the incentive to be. So you can each try to explain something. Them and they like, yeah. Oh yeah, it's because a lot of so. The other part about it too is that it's not necessarily wrong in the sense that money is the incentive in a lot of cases, because that is actually the case. That is genuinely, unironically, just the case for a lot of situations, is where in those situations, it comes down to the money of it. And like, while I do understand that, like, for me personally, money is not a motivator. Like, straight up, it does not motivate me, like, in any capacity. Like, I've been offered, like, I think one of my commissions was like, I think $200 to $400 or something like that. Somebody offered to for me commission. I completely forgot about it because it's like, I don't really care about the money about things. It's not an incentive. Because like, I've seen what it does to people and I don't want to turn into that kind of person. So even if I were to make that kind of money, it probably would go either directly to the company and like I would be blocking my amount of money to like maybe like $3,000 a month, and then the rest of it goes straight to it. Also make the fancy of, aren't we on stolen land? Don't get me started on that. Do not get me started on that, because yes, actually, here in Canada and in the US, most of the, if not majority of the land here in our countries are stolen. From those who are a part of, I guess I'll explain it a little bit here. So for those who don't know, here in Canada and in the US, our lands are stolen from those who are First Nations. While a lot of the times they will try to hide that and not show that as like a part of like what they're actually doing, here in Canada, at least, we're currently trying to go through and actually rectify that a little bit to a degree that we can. Well, not to the degree that we can, but politically speaking that we can. And we're trying to go through out of our way to go through and like return the lands that we had originally stolen from them to the degree that like is possible within the current political climate, which is not as much as you might think it is. But it is something that is going through. But yes, Canada and the US are both built on stolen land. Entirely. And while that may not be the best thing to say about my own country, it is something that we do actually have to recognize is something that my country did actually do. Like, we did actually come here, colonize and steal and commit a genocide against a people that, relatively speaking, did not deserve that genocide. And for those who don't know, the last residential school, mind you, the way that Canada was committing a genocide against those who were First Nations, that was in Quebec. The last one was ended in 2008, which a lot of people don't realize was actually a thing. Like, Canada, well, yes, we are like very much a country that isn't actually hated by a lot of people, happen to also not have a very good history. Like, our history is fucked. Like, well, so like, it's one of those things where, while I do understand and love my country, and I am proud to be Canadian, I am also more than willing to go through and point out the faults of my own country. And I do actually want to make sure that those who actually want to understand like why and where I come from with my own like talking and beliefs also understand that I'm not afraid to talk about the shit that my country's done, because that's something that we should never be afraid of doing. Because the second we're afraid of talking about what we've done in the past, and the second that we start to ignore and or try to do what we've done in the past, we start to become that again, and that's what I don't want to happen. I genuinely don't. Like, I really don't want that to happen. But yeah, welcome to Canada's less than ideal history. But yeah, we are built on stolen land for the most part. But yeah, we are currently in the process of going through and returning a lot of the lands to those who are First Nations and other stuff. We do actually have protections and stuff for those who are First Nations here in Canada as well. But it is something that is a work in progress, because it's only been something that's been happening for the past like almost 20 years, actually. No, 18 years. About 18 years. So like, yeah, about that. It's a flat circle, insert time as a flat, yeah, pretty much, yeah. But yeah, we've only been doing like reparations and trying to make sure that like stuff, like we're making amends for what we've done for the past 18 years. So it is something that is happening, but it is taking time, which is fine. But it is something that takes time. But that's also, the reason I know this though is because my ex-mother used to be very much a proprietor of, oh, mind you, I'm paraphrasing what she said, and keep in mind, these are not my beliefs, these are hers. I'd like to put this disclaimer here because I don't want this to be taken out of context or anything, and I need to make sure that people understand that I do not believe this, and this is why she is my ex-mother, not my current mother. She is my ex-mother, but she's also dead, but this is not related to that. This is why she's my ex-mother. She had the very firm belief that those of First Nations descent had to be part of like sent to residential schools. She wanted that to continue. She was fully okay with the continuation of what was happening there. And she's not the only one. And that's like the kind of like, she was very much one of those people that would go out of her way to go through and promote it, almost. And she was proud to say that she wanted it to continue. 2 reasons for the ex, yeah. Mostly just because I don't follow her own beliefs, and I could not stay around her after I found out this is what she believed. And so I cut her off, and her entire family. And yeah, that's where that comes into. But yeah, but yes, this is like where her beliefs are coming from, is because that's what she grew up in. That's what she was a part of. And so a lot of times when you take a look at like those kind of beliefs and you go through and take a look at generational gaps and stuff, that's also why I don't get along with most Gen X and boomers as well, is because my own beliefs clash heavily with them. Like I cannot have a conversation with them without it coming down to like us clashing in some capacity. For example, a really good example of this is for me, like I have a really hard communicating with people in person, because a lot of the times here I can actually talk and I won't be interrupted, or I can actually talk without needing to worry about like the shame of talking about what I'm talking about. First, the part of the okay. So residential schools, for those who don't know, are a form of genocide. So for a genocide to be considered a genocide, it does not have to necessarily mean that you're killing the people. You just have to be erasing their culture, or removing their culture from the people that are there. So what public residential schools are, is what they would do is they would kidnap and steal kids from First Nations communities, all of them. And what they would send them to is residential Christian schools to, quote unquote, convert them to the true Christian ideology, is what those were. And so what they would do is, it's not necessarily a genocide by blood, which was also a thing that Canada had committed in the past. It was mostly done through genocide through indoctrination into the Christian religion, and indoctrination into the quote unquote right way of thinking and the right way that you're supposed to behave and stuff like that. And oftentimes a lot of those kids do not survive those schools because it was very common for them to go through a lot of things that would actually kill them. And so while I do understand that a lot of people may not understand what residential schools are, because here in Canada they mean a completely different thing, that's what that is. And that's what Canada's history is. And that's also why to this day I'm a bit iffy on the whole, like, whenever somebody comes up to me and it's like, oh, you're Christian, it's like, ah, crap, shit. Knowing Christian's history doesn't necessarily make you like a bad person, but also like I tend to flinch a little bit when I hear somebody's Christian, because that is what I know, and that's what my history is with those who are Christian, is people who happen to go through and support that. Or because my ex-mother was also an avid Christian. She actually tried to get me baptized when I was a kid, but she didn't do it because a fight broke out in the family and almost caused a schism. I mean that mostly as a joke, but yes. They tried to baptize me as Christian, but it never happened because they ended up fighting too much over it. Public schools, private schools, and Christian private schools, definitely distant. Okay, so no, we do also have residential schools that are outside of that, where we do actually have private schools where you do actually stay at a residence at the school. But we just call them private schools. We don't call them residential schools here. Because residential schools, by the term here, is known for being not great. Historically speaking. Boarding schools, yeah, we have boarding schools. That's what they're called. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, we call them boarding schools here. Yeah, we call those boarding schools as well. Sorry, that's my bad. Sorry, I almost went to a boarding school when I was younger because my ex-mother wanted me to go to the quote-unquote rich school, but then my dad ended up fighting her on it and didn't let me do it. Which honestly, thank God, because otherwise I would have been like an absolute snot-faced person, and I was so glad that they didn't put me in a private school. Because like, holy crap, man. But yeah, it's one of those things where like, yeah, just keep in mind that they're, yeah. Also back on the whole thing of like why I don't get along with those who happen to be in like Gen X and boomer shenanigans is oftentimes because for me specifically, I will tell you how I feel about things and I don't mince my words. So, and a lot of boomers and Gen X require that while you're talking to them that you mince your words, you play games with it, you kind of like, there's like a specific political decorum to it where you actually, if you don't follow that political decorum, you tend to end up like, it doesn't go right. And like to quote a conversation or like paraphrase a conversation I had with somebody that's in Gen X, we were talking about how like I have a hard time communicating people with my own generation and those that are around me because oftentimes I will just say what I'm thinking and I tell people exactly what's going to happen. And like what I'm thinking about and how I'm going to take the steps to do that. And a lot of people, like I don't get along with people because it has like, it doesn't do too well in conversations and stuff, at least in the workplace and or schools. That's why I'm not in college anymore, is because this would happen a lot where I couldn't do it. Couldn't get along with people because it was just, apparently I'm too straightforward for it, which is weird because a lot of people that actually know me say that I'm not straightforward enough. But either way, we're not going to get into that. But they immediately their first thought of is because their first thought after hearing me say that is, oh, because you don't have control. You're not in power. You don't actually have access to controlling the conversation. It's like, no. It's less of being able to control a conversation and more about not being able to communicate effectively with those around me. And that's having the first thought that they had for that thing go straight to power over the other person is where like I'm actually concerned about that. Because if that's your first thought in a conversation about somebody having a hard time communicating with others, that's not a good thing. That's more about them than it is about me. Well, helping my best friend start our days in Rising Tide. We haven't finished the need to farm alloy plate. Yeah, no, you're fine, you're okay. Sorry, we're talking about something that is not Warframe related. Sorry, guys. Completely unrelated to Warframe, but yes. Welcome to bullshit that we talk about a lot of the times when we're on stream, because might as well, right? I've got no real issues with it. Like, I do actually go through and talk about Warframe sometimes, but yeah. Yeah, sorry, not sorry, basically, is what I'm saying about. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people will say, like, oh, I don't do politics. Sorry, but I don't want to talk to you. If you're not willing to talk about modern issues and modern things that are happening in our worlds that do directly affect you, you're setting yourself up for failure, man. We're here to yap, keep it going. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's what it is. My turn to get water? Alright. Also important to talk about the subject. Yeah, it's also really important to talk about them. Especially considering the fact that it also helps keep the community in a situation where you guys also understand where I stand on things. Because a lot of the times, I've run into a situation where people completely misread what I'm trying to say. Or misread who I am. And it's like, it drives me up a wall a little bit. Because like people like walk up to me and be like, oh, you're okay with conservative viewpoints? Oh, you must be fine with abortion and fine with banning abortion. It's like, no. What are you talking about? No. I may be fine with being around those who are conservative, but I myself am not conservative. It's just that I'm fine with having people with different viewpoints around me because that's actually good. I want to have people push back on what I'm saying. I want people to have different viewpoints and different beliefs because that's what makes the world interesting. If you don't have that, then the world is just bleak. Like if you've ever seen We Happy Few or the game We Happy Few, that's what that is. That's what happens when you get rid of all the beliefs, all different beliefs. It just gets numb and I don't like it. Idea is not dumb. Yeah. At some point, I want to know why the outside perspective of the US is that we no longer have a nation of freedom. Just want to know. Oh! That's pretty easy to actually understand. Do you want to know verbatim exactly the reason for it? Because I can explain it in like 3 sentences if you want. It's like super easy. Okay, because your current government or your GOP are mostly run by dictators, and they are currently running. And you know what ICE is? Have you ever heard of what ICE is or had any interaction with them? Because I know that you're probably in the US, right? So you've probably had some degree of, yeah. ICE is the modern version of the Gestapo, from the German Gestapo from the Second World War. What they do is they racially profile and will go through and actively arrest people and deport them for being a different skin color. No, this is just documented. This is just straight up documented. This is not a... Why do I say that? No, this is documented. Look it up. It'll be kind of hard to find because you're in the US and a lot of things try to hide that from you in the US. But like, it's one of those things where like, this is a heavily documented thing that's in the US. The US also happens to have a thing where, what leads me to say that? Because it's documented. I've actually met people who have had first-hand experiences with ICE. I've also seen a crap ton of stuff that goes on with them as well. Just look it up. You'll see it, Azri. You will see it. You just need to look for it, though, because the media does not cover it. Because the media in the US is 100% just there to hide what the government is doing. There's also the other side of things of where every person in the GOP pretty much is on the Epstein's list, which I don't think I need to explain to you why that's bad. There's also the other side of things of like, if somebody speaks out against the current president of the US, they get fired and or removed from their position. That's also why a lot of the statistics that you see about the president's approval ratings are so high, is because they actually can't tell you the truth about that. Because if they do, they get fired, removed from their position, and then replaced with somebody who actually does just follow what they're said, or what they're told. That's also very much a heavily documented case of that's happened more than a few times. Go take a look at like what's happening in Texas as well, with the way that the people that are leading in Texas and or in control of Texas as well as Florida. That's also what's happening there as well. It's also another thing of where, you know, president, like sorry, no, I'm not going to say it's president. I can't say the president. I'm going to say the nitwit from now on, okay? We're going to call him a nitwit, and I hope everyone here understands exactly what I'm calling him, a fucking nitwit. But yeah, I'm going to call him a nitwit from now on, so just understand if I refer to the nitwit, it's him. The nitwit, for example, has a thing where he will not remove people who are flying the Nazi flag at his rallies, or he will not remove those who are actively like flying the KKK members, like, or KKK flags from his rallies. He actively supports them because he wants them there. They also went through and removed the rights, removed the rights of those who are LGBTQ and are currently in the process of trying to remove even more of their rights. ICE will actually directly target those who are part of the LGBTQ, those of color, those who are of Mexican descent. If you're not white and Christian, they will target you. They're also known for going after pretty much anybody who looks any bit slightly different as well. There's a whole other, like, there's a lot of stuff that they do. But the reason why I'm using ICE as an example here is because primarily speaking, that is what you're running into. Is that, like, that is probably going to be the most personal thing for you to run into. Outside of that, though, there's a lot more that I could go into. But yes, the US is, they've lost their right to democracy because as of current, or not the right to democracy, but the designation and recognition of being a democracy. Completely. Like, the US is no longer recognized as a democracy by the international committee and or everybody internationally. They're recognized the same way that we recognize like Russia and or China or the North Korea, that kind of thing. Like, it's no longer recognized as a democracy. It's recognized more as a dictatorship and or something else. I don't exactly know what I would call it though. Closer to fascist actually at this point. Also, ICE is the nitwits secret police. The nitwits is just trying to be a king. Oh, a lot more than just a king. Funny. Because a king actually listens to those around him, lest he be killed. He doesn't listen. So, probably a dictator. He's just trying to be a dictator. It's also why you see him going through and getting, licking the toes of Putin. I don't know if you guys have actually seen that, but he goes through and actually has private meetings with Putin constantly, like a lot. He actually goes through and also has private meetings with Kim as well. So like he's one of those ones where he's somebody who idolizes dictators. He wants to be a dictator. The problem with that is he doesn't realize that the majority of dictators are usually killed by their own men. In most cases, they're usually killed by their own men. I don't know if you guys know this, but yeah, that's how dictators usually go out, is that they usually die by betrayal. In almost every case, including fucking Caesar. But you guys already know Caesar's history. Guarantee it. So like, you know. But yeah, the US is in a very, very grim state of things. That's also why a lot of people tend to see like the negativity of like the news. And like they tend to look at like all the negativity that's going on around. It's not as bad as you guys might think, because there are people like Mamdani that are fighting for it. Like that's why I mentioned Mamdani so much, is because he actually is going through and fighting for the freedoms of the people that live in New York, as well as the freedoms in the state of New York. He's not just fighting for his own people, but he's fighting for everybody. Which is really admirable, but that's also why I say that it's something to be concerned about. Because when you have somebody in power that wants to be a dictator, and you have people below him that are fighting for people's freedoms, as well as happening to be somebody who's of Muslim descent, you guys understand why I say that's an issue though, right? Not that I see an issue with him being Muslim, by the way. I'm just pointing out that that's probably one of their motives for why they hate him so much. It's because like the rhetoric that they had for a while is because they tried to go through and say, oh, because he's using Israeli numbers, or he's going to put the Israeli or the Arabic alphabet into schools, not knowing that the Arabic alphabet is what we use everywhere in the English language. By the way, if you want to find out something where somebody's just being really fucking stupid and find out just how little education they've actually had, if somebody actually tries to hit you with the, oh, but they're going to be adding Arabic like lettering and stuff to schools, or the Arabic numerals to schools and shit, keep in mind that that's just, you're seeing it on my screen right now. You know those damage numbers? That's the Arabic numerals right there. Oh no, anyways. But yeah, that's some of their rhetoric and stuff that they're trying to go about to say like, oh, he's Muslim, so he's gonna make our stuff worse. And it's like, bro, I'm sorry to say this, but some of the nicest people that I've met have been Muslim. And like genuinely, or Sikh, or Punjabi, or like those who have been a part of like the Middle East. And like, I don't understand why people tend to go out of their way to say like, oh, these people are gonna be terrible because yada yada reasons. And it's like, why should I have an issue with somebody who isn't somebody that represents their own country? Now, say if they were like a politician and they did represent their country, and they did actually represent like the people that they were, like their people, then yes, I would take an issue with it if they were actually going out of their way to harm others. For example, the people like, so like, for example, those who try to say like, oh, all Russians are bad because Putin's bad. It's like, have you ever met a Russian? Most of them just want to fucking chill. Like, a lot of that rhetoric comes from the war in Ukraine, by the way, is where a lot of people tend to say like, oh, the Russians are orcs and they're terrible and they're not actually people because they're orcs. And that is actually the way that they go about doing that rhetoric, by the way. It's a form of dehumanizing your enemy or your opponent so that you have an easier time killing them. That is why they have that rhetoric, by the way. So like when it comes down to that, I fully understand that that's what that rhetoric is there and that's what that's for. And that's why I don't give a shit about it, because why would I see somebody who is just like me not as human? Like, huh? We've probably had similar struggles in our lives, so like why would I hate somebody? They have a brain, they live their life, they just want to have and chill, like they want to take a nap, like what? I don't get it. But then again, it comes into that stuff where a lot of people aren't given the room to breathe and think about things, and that's usually why you take a look at that. It's also why true, although Russian has been a butt in the joke for many decades. Well, yeah. Well, you gotta remember that there's multiple Red Scares. If you guys know what don't know what the Red Scare is, it was a political campaign run by the US to go through and actively say that anyone who is Russian or quote unquote a commie was bad and should be imprisoned or killed, is what they would say. And so oftentimes the Red Scare and or other things like that oftentimes came into being the play of like, we still see that in North America to this day because, well, most of our generation lived through both of the Red Scares. During the history that is, well, the Cold War. If you guys know anything about the Cold War, you guys understand exactly why I'm saying that, and why I'm saying that I understand where it comes from, not that I condone it, nor do I respect that decision to react that way when you meet somebody who has a certain lineage. It's also why a lot of people tend to be very negative towards those who are from the Middle East or India, is because of the fact that the US happens to have a lot of propaganda related to it. Related to the Middle East, and for example, you've got 9/11 that was run by, was he a Muslim? I can't remember exactly what he was. I just know that it was run by a guy that was from the Middle East. And then they later had to go through and to get him and stuff. Sniper from TF2. So long as there's two people in this world, someone's going to want the other dead. Not necessarily, because it's usually only those in power. Outside of that, most people are chill. Like, you gotta remember that the average person does not represent their country. Like, I say this as somebody who does not, like, I don't represent my country either. While I do try to represent the best that we can be, I don't want to be the person that, like, represents my country in any capacity, because it's like, I will fuck up, and I do make mistakes constantly, actually. It's not one of those things where, like, I'm, like, free of fault. Like, I genuinely am somebody who has a very not so great past. Like, I used to be a part of, like, I used to believe in Mega. I used to be someone who was a part of that movement. So I'm more than well aware of how that shit works and how they get indoctrinated in it. It's just that I got lucky enough that I had my dad around who was able to teach me otherwise and was able to show me that, hey, being a part of that isn't the greatest idea. And being a conservative and or somebody who is a terrible person is not a good idea either. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, while I did come from that, I also understand that, like, I'm not going to be, like, the infallible perfect person that you'll ever see. Like, I'm not going to be, like, the most, like, I'm not going to play the card of being like, oh, I've never done bad things, or I've never done things that could potentially hurt other people. No, I very much have, and I do regret what I've done. But it's also something that I'm not going to hide, because, like, again, as I said before, is that, like, while I do, like, want to move on and be able to respect and, like, be proud of who I am, I also don't want to ignore what I've done and those around me have done, because if I do that, then I risk falling and letting others fall into the same habits of, or the same things that I've done in the past. So, like, it's not, it's one of those things where, like, it's more of, like, a matter of, like, I just don't really care, man. Like, why the fuck would you go around saying, like, oh yeah, this person's terrible because what, they're Mexican? Bro, have you had a tequila before? Like a Mexican tequila? Those shit are, like, that shit's fire. Leave them be, man. Also, Mexicans are some of the best workers I've ever seen. Like, objectively speaking, I have worked in multiple environments where I've worked with Mexicans, okay? I have never seen any more hardworking and, like, more effective workers in my life. I may have never understood a thing that they were saying at the time because I was too young and I didn't have the education to understand most of Spanish. But, like, they're, like, super chill. I don't understand why people are like, ah, you're from this place, you must be terrible. It's like, no. Jesus Christ, man. Man, when I used to work with a bunch of people that who were Punjabi, who had actually immigrated from Punjab, and this comes into, like, when I used to work as a barista, because most of the people I used to work with as a barista were Punjabi, who had immigrated from Punjab. And, like, we used to have fucking parties in the back. Don't tell my boss that, but at night when there was a bunch of us, and we used to just have parties in the back of the store whenever there was no people. We used to have speakers and we'd blast our own music across the speakers and, like, have a great time. Mind you, without the boss's permission. Legally speaking, might have not the great decision, but don't give a fuck. So, like, I really don't understand the rhetoric of people like that being terrible. Like, come on, man. My house has done more to called them, and they're so funny to talk to. What my house has done before I called them. They're so fun to talk to. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you talk about the people that are, like, from, yeah. God damn it, I just died. But that's also where I come from, like, in terms of, like, my history and stuff. It's like, yeah, hates communism, but we're also aware that it also looks like, so we know we're actually communism and whatnot. Yeah. Well, see, the communism and stuff is kind of weird, because much like the whole idea of capitalism, a lot of the average person doesn't really understand what those two things are. And capitalism in itself is not a good idea. We're going to be honest with you. Like, am I going to be honest with you? Capitalism in itself is really cool, but it's a good idea on paper. Same thing with communism. It's a great idea on paper, but doesn't work in practice. Never does. That's also why, like, I'm somewhat okay with socialism, which is what Canada is. We are socialist, which is a mix between communism and capitalism. So we have the ideals of being capitalists. So we do want to make our own money. We do want to have businesses. We do have all of our stuff that would be capitalist ideals. But we also have things which are the socialist part of our country, which we have things that are at the very bottom line that help those who are less fortunate, those who are disabled, those who need medical help, or those who happen to not make enough money to be able to get through their life. We do have safety nets. We have those systems in place to help those who aren't able to help themselves, and that's fine. That's like the ideal mix. Now, whether or not, what the fuck? How the fuck did you get there? Spectre? Huh? Okay. Apparently my Spectre decided, our Spectre decided that it wants to hang out. Okay. Fine, whatever, I guess. But it's one of those things where, like, yeah, no, it's those things. Take a break, and one of the fundamental things that need to actually be effective at work. Like my industry is a big outlier. I prefer to e.g. take 1 to 5 break during the day, having to take 1 a month sick leave, stern up breasts. Yeah. They got ejected, yeah, pretty much. The other thing about it too is that, yeah, no, if you can get like breaks and stuff while working, that's crazy. And while I do complain about a lot of things that we have in Canada, it's mostly just in the job market, by the way. Outside of that, things are just fine. Like, genuinely just fine. There are things that we could do to do better, but when I look at other countries, like what's happening in the US right now, we're fine. I'm not going to complain about it too much because it's like, Canada, while we do suffer and like have things that aren't the greatest, as I am a white person, I say this as somebody who is white, by the way. I don't fully understand how it is for those of color or those who have immigrated here to Canada, because I know that there are differences there, and I'm going to just make a disclaimer here. For me, it's fine. But I also know that there are things that are going to get better and could be better. Now, if we get into the whole topic of me being a part of minority, that's a different story. I'm not going to touch that. Like even these breaks complete attacks faster. Well, yeah, because that's what it is. Breaks are always better. Like me being able to do streaming for as long as I do, by the way, guys, is not necessarily an anomaly, but it is definitely one of those things where I wouldn't recommend doing it, because I would recommend going out of your way to have breaks and stuff if you do streams or longer streams, just because it is helpful to have. Because if you do go out of your way to have like streams that are like 5-6 hours long, you do need to make sure that you get up and walk around, or any kind of work for that matter. You just need to do that, or anything that you're doing. Also, I need to get my fan. Can y'all like cover me for like 2 seconds? I just realized that I'm sweating so much I can feel the sweat going down my face right now. And I need to go get some, I need to go get my air. So hold on, give me a second. There you go, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, this feels so good. God, I love cold air. It's so nice, especially when you're in like 30 to 40 degree weather. It's so good, man. It's so fucking good. Also, I need to go check if my thingy is here yet. I have a package coming in today that I need to go grab at some point. Oh, got delivered! Shit, it's actually here. Yo! Hey, so, got a question for you. Hey, Steve, could you like cover me while I go get my package? Could you cover me while I go get my package really quick? For like 2 seconds here? I'm gonna go like sit up here. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Thank you. Appreciate it. Desk for either code pulls. Yeah, exactly. That, and if you're coding, get a rubber ducky. If you don't know what a rubber ducky is, you'll find out pretty quickly. But yes, make sure you get a rubber ducky, because those things they're good. They're useful. By the way, you guys are my rubber ducky, just as a heads up. So for those who don't know, in the Discord, when I start ranting about random shit that I'm doing, especially like late at night, it's not that I'm looking for a response, it's because you guys are my rubber ducky. Where I just work out all of my stuff that I'm talking about and all the things that I'm doing, and then you guys end up seeing that conversation with myself, basically is what that is. I mean, if you guys have input and stuff, feel free, but that's more what that is. Duck-driven debugging is the best way to do. Yeah, exactly! It's the best kind of debugging. It's awesome. Okay, I'll be back in a second here though. Give me like a bit. I'm just gonna like leave this here, and I'm gonna let you guys do your thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna like just watch Matrix, watch Steve and them have fun. Baby. Where the fuck did I put my mic? Where's my mic settings? God damn it, my mic settings don't exist. Whatever, it's fine. Ayo, hello, Muff. Hello, welcome guys. Also, for the record, guys, I'd like to go through and point out anything that I've said here, feel free to go verify yourself, and if I'm ever wrong about something, correct me. I want that. Like, I want you guys to go out of your way to correct me if I am wrong about something. Because that is something that is very important. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, so, counterpoint Horizon, I did actually go do some dishes earlier on stream. So yes, the kitchen sink was actually involved in there in some capacity. Pretty much, as like a thingy here as well. Yes, that should be fine. Also, you guys can hear me, right? Not being weird? There you go. Yeah. Okay. Also, just ignore me while I'm doing this. I'm gonna be setting some stuff up in the background too. Ah! Cardboard just goes that way, that can go that way. I'm just gonna make like a small cardboard pile later. But it's much more able to disconnect completely work when I go for a chat with you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, what the fuck? Oh no, I never actually got the eligibility for it. Shit. Aw, that's bullshit. Man. Fine, whatever, I guess. I'll just move with it eventually. I'll actually do this thing called moving. In a bit here. That's fine, I don't mind. I mean, it's not like we don't already have like, what, 400 Vitus Essence right now? It's kind of crazy. We do actually have a lot of Vitus Essence at the moment. Just sitting in our inventories. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to set this up so we can get this done. Sorry, what I did was I got a hold on. There you go, now I can actually hear myself. I went through and actually got a thing so I could put my like my actual like phone, my tracking phone right behind my mic, so I can actually see it. I actually work with it that way. There's only really one downside to doing it this way. And then it's, I'm not entirely— oh my god, I could do it over here! Oh, I could do it over here. Hold up, I have an idea. I have an idea. Hold on. I have an idea. You start mission, go not, does rapid eye movement make you roll for mission rewards? Not necessarily, no, unfortunately. Like, you do actually have to move around. Like, you actually have to do these here. There you go. Also, I know that I have music in the background that's like relatively chill, but for stream and stuff, but for me specifically, I'm actually listening to hard rock in the background. For those who aren't aware, I actually listen to hard rock on stream. It's just that it's usually in the background, so you guys actually can't hear it most of the time. Heyo, hey Grim. Welcome. Because welcome to my obsession with certain types of music. I fucking love it. Okay, that's fine. That should be okay. So if I go over here, tighten this here, you can also just health. What should I do? We're doing arbitrations at the moment. Though these nerds here are actually keeping me alive while I set something up in the background here. You guys won't notice the difference. Actually, you guys will. But that difference will be in a second here, once you guys can actually hear it. Though, you know what I'm gonna do? How about I make this change really quick? I'm gonna lose tracking for a second here, guys. Just heads up. So if I'm not moving, I know. What? Of course you're nerds. Guys, you play Warframe. Also, half of y'all like Warhammer. Like, why wouldn't you be nerds? Like, at this point, if I didn't consider you guys nerds after knowing that most of y'all fucking love Warhammer and also like Warframe, like, come on, man. At this point, this is more insulting to you guys because I don't know you guys well enough. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, of course. I say nerd isn't like. By the way, guys, nerd is not actually an insult to me. I see it as like a compliment, because everybody has a subject that they're at least somewhat nerdy in, to a degree. everybody, and I mean that literally. Like for me, it's servers, computers, and like anything tech-wise. But for you guys, it might be Warhammer, or it might just be Warframe, or it might be something else like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where like everybody has something that they're nerdy in. It's not one of those things where like you can just say like, oh, but I'm not a nerd because yada yada bullshit. No, no, no. You are a nerd, just in your own way. Come on. Yes. Haha. It worked. That's screwing in or not screwing? That's not screwing in. That's screwing in. It would be possible to get more knowing with Linux users. Fact alone, she knows makes the premium nerd club member. What? What? Okay, but like also I daily drove Linux for 8 years. So yeah, I'm using Saren. Homie, I daily drove Linux for 8 years, homie. My nerd classification I've had since I was in middle school. Actually, I was doing robotics. Yeah, I was doing robotics in elementary. So no, I've had that nerd status since I was in elementary, my guy. So while I do understand the whole thing of like, oh, yeah. Because Linux bullshit. No. See, I've been doing robotics since forever. What do you mean unk nerd? Grim, I'm not that old. I'm actually younger than about 60% of you that are here. What do you mean you should go to Linux? Only do Linux stuff if you want to. Linux is one of those like programs that if you like using that program or that OS, do it. But otherwise, I would not recommend it. The main reason why is because Linux is something that you keep to what you want to do. Basically, started with the full physics and then well, yeah, of course. I almost got into computer science, by the way. I failed it by 1% twice. And that's the only reason I didn't get into computer science is because I failed it by 1% twice. And to this day, I think my family is still pissed about that. Like, to this day. Which is funny, but yes. Been called it. What do you mean you've never won? Yeah, but also, isn't like everybody where you are speak Russian? So I don't know if there's actually a word for nerd in Russian, isn't there? Unless there is, and I'm just being a butt. In which case, GG's. I'm sorry. There is? Oh, okay. Okay, that works. Also, guys, I have the most cursed setup now. I'm gonna take a picture of it after I finish this, by the way. Yeah, I'll take a picture of this after I'm finished setting everything up. Just so you guys can see how cursed this looks. Speaking of computer science, managed to make some progress with the project today. Hey, nice, it's good to hear. Though, honestly, I have a lot of things I need to go and set up myself when it comes to different projects. I tried to go see if I could actually split off some stuff, but it didn't work out, so. Decided it wasn't worth to go and like lose my mind about stuff. Also, I just realized that the amount of Vitus essence that I've probably lost by doing this is like ludicrous. Like no joke, I've probably lost like 100 Vitus essence at this point. I'm sorry Horizon, but it might actually do it. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. I'm gonna walk away for a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was just plugging in my M audio, or the new M audio that I have. Excel turret. Oh, you're making an Excel turret. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Hold up, my mic is gonna die for a second here. USB line audio. There you go. Now you guys can hear me. Okay, I think that works. Yes. Yes, I think that works. Now I just need to get the other one working, which is going to be my other mic, but that should be more than okay at this point. Though, I'm not going to lie. This is kind of interesting. Hold on, line U. Go back over here, 2 channels. Channels, there should only be 1. The fuck? Why are you doing what? Hold on, is it because this one over here has to be 2? Oh, you also do 2 channels. Oh, they both have it. Interesting. That's actually really interesting. All right, can you guys hear me? Just making sure that you guys can actually hear me now. There you go. All right, cool. Yes. Okay, cool. We're good. You guys can actually hear me now. Yeah, let's go. All right. Now, once we get out of this mission, I'm gonna have to go through and figure out how to get the second mic working because I have a feeling that there's something wrong with the mic and I don't know what's wrong with it. So, let's figure out what the issue is here. Oh, no, I'm just being stupid. I forgot to actually plug in the mic. You know that moment when you're just like really stupid and you're not thinking about things correctly, and then just things tend to get a little funky. Yeah, forgetting to actually plug in your mic. Yeah, that'll do it. I was curious why my mic was being like really weird. Oh my god, you guys can actually hear my keyboard now. Uh-oh, this is problematic. Okay, hold on. Give me like 2 seconds here. I'm gonna come over and hang out next to you, by the way. For like 2 seconds here, because I wanna do something. Now that I got this working, I need to sit down and actually get this working properly. Audio input capture, mic audio. This will be my USB audio 2, I believe is what we want to do, because it's gonna be both of these primarily. And then we're gonna rename this one to... How loud am I? Am I too loud? Yeah, I'm like really loud. Okay, so you guys want to know what this does, or what this mic does specifically? I can talk in your ear. This is what the mic is meant for. I can actually switch between ears. As weird as that sounds. I just need to go through and actually do some editing and stuff between that and get that working. But yeah, I can 100% 3D. There you go. Yeah, that's what that's for, is that I can just like lean in and like, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what that's for. Yeah. Hold on, where's our stuff? I'm gonna go through and grab all of my other stuff, but now I can just hot swap between them. I just need to go get my audio mixer, enable U, go back over here, and then get my 3DO, and then toggle mute. There you go. That should be more doable for you guys, or a little bit more tolerable, if that makes any sense. Just because, like, at least that way I don't need to worry necessarily about you guys, like, getting absolutely just cooked via shenanigans here. And there you go. I now have a button that lets me swap between the 2 mics. Or, hold on, I need to still set up a hot swap between them, but yes. Pretty close to it. Actually, you know what, let me go do that really quick. Just to get that working. Multi-action switch. Sorry guys, I appreciate you guys keeping me safe here, by the way. I appreciate that, because it is going to save me a ton of time. Toggle mute, 3DO, where's my main mic? Main mic right there. So let me go over here, toggle mute. No, we want you to be set to mute. Unmute. Mute. Unmute. And then if I go over here, I should be able to just like, I should stay single, or like have like no double audio, I think. If I'm right. Yeah, okay. I can hot swap now. Okay, we're good. Alright. What's my primary right now? It's the Sobek. So this is a Saren Sobek build designed specifically for doing arbitrations. That's its primary purpose, is just arbitrations. It's actually really nice for doing all this stuff. Granted, there is going to be like a whole thing of like, is it actually worth running and stuff? But really does depend. Well, I'd say it's worth running considering we have over 400 Vitus Essence gotten from this one run alone. which I'd say is worth it, but also at the same time, I'm not entirely sure what you guys think about getting almost like over 400 Vitus Essence in a single run. It's a few Vitus Essence. Yeah. Well, this can one-tap level cap, by the way. I can take this build all the way to level cap and do just fine. I actually went through and did some tests yesterday to make sure that I could actually kill things that were harder than level cap, and yeah, as long as I kill one enemy in level cap, I can kill the entire map all at once. Yes, Vitus is affected by mod boosters and stuff, yeah. But it's also affected by your pet. So if you have a pet and they have the resourceful retriever on it, you can actually double it again, so you can get 4 from a single drop instead of just 2. Which is why I've always told people to bring resourceful retriever if you can, because like it gives you so much more Vitus Essence. But yeah, it's affected by both mod drop trans boosters, mod boosters, or sorry, resource boosters, resource doublers, and then other stuff as well. So that's why I have yeah, that's exactly why. No. Yo, what you got? What you got for me? Come on. Also, I feel like I'm almost like too quiet here. Yeah, okay, that's better. Yeah, we're just gonna turn myself up a little bit, just so I have a better audio here. It's for my own sake, so I can actually hear myself. Yeah, it's just so I can hear myself, just in case of like not having to worry about other stuffs. Yeah, we're doing good. What do you mean by I can date Mary? I don't know. I don't do the dating stuff in this game. Like I genuinely have zero interest in the dating side of it, so I have no idea. That's entirely up to you guys. What? You're falling asleep? Is this too much? Alright, we'll leave then. It's fine. We can leave. What do you mean that's weird? Do you mean the sense of like the fact that I have zero interest in the dating side for the Warframe dating side? Because like for me it's just another feature in the game that I just don't care about. Personally at least. Because like I have other things I need to focus on anyways. Like for one, plat grinding. That's like my major thing, is that I need to go grab plat grind. Because I'm actually running out of plat and I need more plat. It's weird that you can, oh, it's weird that you can, no, it's actually the natural progression of things. It's not weird at all. Also, that update was done like almost a year ago. Grim. Like the update's been in the game for a while now. Like a long time. Actually, they've added 2 new batches of characters since it's come out. So like, as weird as it might sound, it's not as weird as you might be thinking. There you go. No. Don't have to give them to you, progress faction setting. No, you don't. Yeah. It's good to know. Yeah. I mean, you can just go through and just become more friendly with them and stuff. It's just, I couldn't care less about it because it's dialogue, and let's be honest here, I don't pay attention to dialogue. I don't do any of that shit. Because, well, you guys all know how I feel about the dialogue. You guys all know how I feel about that. Welcome back, Code. Welcome back. Alright, there you go. The multi-shot goes wild. Yeah, multi-shot is not as important for this build as you might think it is. It's actually not the multi-shot that's making this build as good as it is. What? No, tell you what. Asri, what do you mean by tell you what? Tell you what? Also, the game is actively starting to crash on me. I'm slowly but surely losing my performance in this game. It's actually funny. I'm progressively getting to a point where my game's getting less and less FPS. Triple dipping with the multi-CO? No, it's just the acid shells. The increased damage for acid shells is based entirely on the amount of health that the enemies have. That's it. So if you want to do more damage, you just have to kill higher level enemies with more health. That's genuinely it. Everything else for this build is just for that first kill. After that, nothing. Everything else is done purely by the acid shells. Oh, no, I just don't like dialogue. A lot of games, like, for example, Final Fantasy 14, the reason I haven't gotten too far into the story is because of just, it's all dialogue. There's like, it's just an interactive novel at that point. There's so much fucking stuff to read. It's funny too, because I love to read books, but in games, if you hit me with dialogue, I can't do it, man. I can't reasonably do it. So like, a lot of the times when there's games that are like, oh, you could go date a character if you do enough dialogue stuff with them, it's like, yeah, I'm good, man. You can keep that dialogue option to yourself. All you want. Yeah, no, this isn't entirely just the Sobek acid shells build though. Noko a lot because the fourth, they can do like 4 mil if you moderate. Oh, 4 million? Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Wait till you get it to about 30 million though. That's what you want in terms of damage. Yeah, I play Genshin, but I don't do the story in Genshin, like at all. Yeah, if it's, yeah, pretty much if it's not for the achievements, I won't do it, yeah. It's effectively what it is. And even then, I have an auto-clicker I have set up for that specifically, so I can bypass that whole issue entirely, just so I don't have to deal with the dialogue. Because, yeah. Also, just keep in mind that this build actually does not care for anything that's in front of me. 30 million is not that much damage, by the way. Once you start to get to like the higher levels and stuff, people do billions. Not millions, billions. That's like a very common thing for people to run into a situation where they just start doing billions of damage among everybody, like just as like a later stage thing. Like my my Saren Sobek build probably does close to 1 billion, as long as I'm at level cap, somewhere around there, just due to the damage buff from the acid shells. Even though my build is like shite right now, it's terrible, but hey, it's a thing. Like this build is actually horrendous, like it's really bad. I'm not doing— no, you could. You very much could. Grim, you very much can hit that. It's not that hard. You just need to find a build that does it. For example, if you go and use Banshee, that actually would work really well as well for high damage numbers. The reason why I mentioned Saren Sobek, like the acid shells on Sobek, is because the acid shells, as soon as you get a Sobek, which you can get at MR 13, is possible to have for every person. It's actually really cool. Everyone has access to it at MR 13. I think it's like MR like 10 or something that you can get access to it. Oh, they had it under the tag tab? What? But yeah. Welcome to Warframe, where anything under 100 million damage is not ideal. Also, keep in mind that a lot of the oh, we're reserved for— yeah, because it's under tags, yeah. Nope, I do not use Noko. I do plan on eventually building him eventually in the future, but like, it's one of those things where like I haven't had a chance to because I don't have the Omniforma for it. And that's the main reason why I haven't done it, is because I need the Omniforma first. Once I get the Omniforma for it, then I'll do it. But otherwise, I just won't build Noko. Otherwise. I have a bunch of other Warframes I want to go through and do though. Noko Prime won't come out for another 2 years, if not 3. So it'll be a long while before Noko Prime actually comes out. Unfortunately, that's just how stuffs will go. Also, yeah, that one shard that gives me the extra health on energy stuffs actually is giving me one hell of a bonus here. It's pretty good. It's pretty chill. Alright, yeah, let's head out after this. Yeah, let's head out at this mission. Just because, like, yeah, we've been here for 2.5 hours, by the way. Doing this one mission for 2.5 hours. Love you, Rosie Chief. I don't know how many people could actually survive doing 2.5 hour mission inside of shenanigans here. Also, I'd like to point out that the enemy level is only 136. Right now. Like, they're only 136 to 132 around there. This is like nothing. Well, I know that we've done longer Cascade, Steve, but that's us. That's not the average person. Because when we start looking at like the— oh my god, it actually broke. We had so many items that broke. What the fuck? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold the fucking phone. Yo, guys. What kind of mod is that? What kind of mod did we just get out of that? Now that's an interesting UI breakage. Never seen that one before. But yeah, we probably hit over 500 Vitus Essence actually. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 460 right there. Yeah, 120 Oricon cells. Holy shit. Yeah, I see why you guys have like a crap ton of Oricon cells now, because like, yeah, no, you guys just get it through that. Also, I need to go do something, and I'm gonna like pull you guys out real quick. The forbidden mod. Pretty much, yeah. Here, you guys want to see how many fucking, how much Kuvo we're gonna get out of this? Just real quick, because I genuinely am kind of curious how much Kuvo we'll get out of this. For this, I don't know if you can you? We're doing arbitrary, so it depends on what kind of content we're gonna do next. Which honestly, I might go do EDA, which I don't know if you have it unlocked. EDA? Yes, EDA, not ETA. Seto 9 gamers unite, yeah, pretty much. I can get 19 of these in one go. I'm kind of tempted. I'm genuinely tempted to do it and just be set for Kubo for the next, like, I don't know, fucking forever and a half. There you go, 200,000 Kubo right there. Ended up mid-game, got 56 else. Oh, yeah, unfortunately. Oh, did you really not get anything else out of that? That's unfortunate. 56 total apparently, yeah. Yep. I might go through and actually go and mess around with default image for every mod. It shows up when a real image fails to load. You can get it if you catch it quick enough. Actually? Oh shit, that's actually really- I didn't realize it happened every time. That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome, Beta. I didn't realize that that would actually be the case where it happens every time. That's awesome. But yeah, that's awesome though. Fucking love mods. Nah, Kuva goes quick. Well, see, here's the thing. 200,000 Kuva is not going to cover me for much, so don't worry, I got you. Also, I want to go run EDA really quick, so we have a chance to actually do that. It's just that I gotta go finish EDA first before I can do anything else. Oh, that's right. I said I was going to take a picture of this. Hold on. Hold on. Let me show you guys what I see now. This is what I see now on stream, by the way. Hold on, where's my thingy? Updates. This is what my on stream thing looks like. My face is like right where that's like just right in front of that mic. The mic on the right. But this is what I see now in front of me. When I'm doing like it's a little cursed, but it's got spirit. I have multiple thingies holding my different mics and like my phone here. There's like in front of me here that's like attached to my keyboard. It's just a lot of mics and stuff. Just everything in front of me. But it's fine. It's okay. It works. Whee! Okay, I gotta go talk to Hexus really quick. Photo frame. Temporal Archimedia. And then we need to go run this really quick. Okay, so I need to go find Titania. Titania! Where are you? Okay, so now I gotta go do the Zoog. Bolto. The Bolto, and then we need the Skana. Then the Skana. There you go. Just gonna take all those issues right there. That's fine over here. What's the issue? Each personal modifier grants one. Okay, so minus melee combo chance. That's fine. Pickups do not heal. That's okay. 500 per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. Oh crap! I'm gonna die. Shield recharge delayed by 500%. Oh. Oh, that's pain. That's actual fucking pain. Oof. That's not great. Okay. Only one of those suck. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, you're Dante. Oh, yeah, then we're set. Yeah, we're fine. We're chilling then. Just gonna go over here, start that mission real quick. Sorry, I'm also eating my breakfast here because I may or may not have forgotten to eat my breakfast earlier. Maybe. Oh, it's an X-term. Yes! Okay, X-term is fine. That is more than okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Just gonna hit that with my Zada's Whisper. Yeah, there you go. Now we're good. Now we're good. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we're gonna be done this, like, relatively quickly. It should only take us, like, what, 8 minutes? It's not that big of a deal. Like, genuinely speaking. Granted, there is like a couple things that we could do to like make it better per se, but like, minor issues. Minor issues indeed. Minor issues indeed. Also, a little bit of a funny thing that's actually kind of interesting here is that if you guys want to hear the background noise in my apartment, which is probably not the ideal situation. The fan, but it's fine. It's okay. Meow. No. Alright, there you go. Now we're set. Just keep moving. Although I do appreciate the fact that we actually keep our energy up high enough that we're like not having to worry about energy again or energy issues right now, which is good. Oh crap! No, didn't want to get out of my fourth. There we go. But yeah, that's why I've been like kind of like hesitant to do recordings and stuff. Cut it for the last couple 20 seconds. Sorry, but no. That might have just been for you, then. Because, like, I can actually... Oh, wait. I forgot to turn my mic on. Because me being the dumbass that I am, I keep forgetting to turn shit on. Because I turn it off, and then I just forget that I turned it off, and, you know. But yeah, this is what it sounds like. Yeah, have I tried Nourish on Titania? Not necessarily. I do know that Titania is, like, really good, but I wouldn't say that Nourish would be, like, the best here. If I wanted to go through and do like anything, I'd probably go through and set it up so that we have Zada's Whisper, just because it works a little bit better. Yeah, it's because it's designed for me to get into your ear, that's why. Yeah, it's like I'm next to a waterfall, I know. Yeah, I know. Oh no, I'm well aware it's the wrong mic, Vader. That was designed specifically to go through and just show you guys what the background sound looks like, or sounds like. That I have to deal with in the background. I know that that's the wrong mic. I'm more than well aware. But yeah, I have a button that lets me hotspot between the two. I do want to go through and get like a better like spot to actually do that stuff, but I don't know if it'll actually... I don't know if I'll be able to actually sit down and actually get like a better spot to actually do recordings and stuff. I got stuff. There is no wrong mic. At least for this specifically, there's no wrong mic. Because like I do it on purpose if I'm doing it, and I usually do give a warning beforehand so people can mute me if they want me to, if they want to. But like outside of that, it's fine. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure that we actually. Oh my God, is this okay? This is not the one that we're looking for. Okay, cool, we're good. Also, is anybody? Wait, is somebody Kome? Not Kome, Folly. I don't think any of it... Sorry, I don't think any of us is Folly, though. Do they just, like, naturally drop the thingies on the ground everywhere? Because it'd be kind of funny if they do actually drop the, RPGs and stuff on the ground. Like, everywhere. Okay, so we got you going. That's fine over here, and then we could just continue this. There we go. I do want to try and see if Nourish helps at all for this damage, because like the Nourish, specifically speaking, does actually do a little bit more in terms of viral damage. The problem is that the reason why I use Nourish for my Saren Sobek specifically is because the Nourish runs through and actually the acid shells actually kicks it through. So that's where that issue comes into play. But since I'm not using acid shells here, I don't know if it would actually be able to double, triple, quadruple dip on the Nourish, or like on the viral stacks and stuff. Also, we have to kill 324 enemies in this mission. Why the hell do we have to kill over 300 enemies in this mission? All of which are close to level 500. The hell are they doing? Game, I swear to God. One of these days. One of these days. We're going down this way. Okay, cool. Woo! Radon claws. Oh, that's nice. It's kind of good. Kind of good. We still got to work on like getting all of our as many of like. Oh no, we already have all the companion mods, or at least most of them. So we're good there. Yeah, we should be good on like most of the companion mods. Most of them, I think at least, because I'm pretty sure that's gonna be okay on our hands. Oh, it's just because the number of required skills doubles if you don't open the cache, which starts ticking down. Oh, does it? Oh shit! I never actually realized that it actually doubles if you don't get the cache. That actually is kind of crazy. Good to know. Because that's only for the that's only for EDA, right? Just making sure. Because I've never seen that happen in any other extra mission, at least not within 1909. Unless I just never noticed it because I was able to kill enough enemies to where that wasn't a problem. Spot on? Okay, so it's just for EDA. Okay, that's exactly why I don't know about it then. It's because EDA has some extra stuff that they do on their own. Alright, cool. That makes sense. Okay, hold on. I need to make sure that we can actually work our way back. You know, see, trying to find where all the enemies are is always like a bit of a pain in the ass because it's like, it's never going to work out properly. Never. I was like, God damn it, man. We need you to like actually function, please. That'd be nice. That'd be awesome. Ooh, actually, I think I have an idea. Actually, I think I do have an idea where I could make this better. Hold on. So if I move you here, and then we do... Hold on. Ignore my tracking breaking for a second here. I'm well aware that that's gonna happen. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna like untie all of this really quick. And then we should be able to just do... If I do that real quick, then we do... Okay, I might have to move that though. Which I can do. Okay, cool. Sorry, I got sidetracked and I think I figured out a better way to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move that. Yeah, we're gonna have to move that later. At a later date. Probably after stream or something. That or out of the mission. One of the two. It'll probably be out of the mission. Because I just realized that I could use my, you guys know how I have a HOTAS at my desk? Like attached to my desk? I just realized I could probably attach my mic to my HOTAS, then have that be attached directly to, like have it like sit right below my chin, so all I have to do is lean slightly to either side, and then it should work for talking in either ear. So that should be okay. I think. Though I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure like 99% of the time that'll work just fine. I gotta figure out the proper audio production setup for that though, because like that would actually be something that would be nice to figure out at some point. At some capacity. Because that would be nice. Okay, why is all the... Okay. Starts roasting us in our left ear. I mean, I could roast y'all in your left ear. It's not the end of the universe. Though granted, I don't know if you guys would appreciate me roasting your asses constantly. Granted, to be fair, half of y'all got better roasts for me than I have for you, so it's fine. So we're getting random jump scares from you? No. This is for the ASMR streams that I'll be doing on the Patreon. So I'm just setting some stuff up that I wanted to set up for it, and since, well, you guys know I need to fix this. But yeah, it's how it goes. So when it comes down to the stuff, I'm going to be doing ASMR streams on the Patreon on like on the weekends and stuff. And so I need to go through and get the setup working and everything else for that, just so that we have like a proper actual stream and everything for it as well. I've actually unironically planning on doing them also after streams at like 7 p.m. because that way I can actually force y'all to fucking go sleep at some point, because I know that would at least help a bit sometimes to a degree. But yeah, I wouldn't be doing it here though, not in the main channel. Mainly just because I had swore that I wouldn't do it on the main channel, because I know that a lot of people actually don't like it. So it's more of just like it's more of just a thingy of here. Hey Julius! But it's more just like a thing of if you guys want it, then it's there. If not, then no, it's fine. But yeah, back for those who don't know, back when I first started streaming I started streaming doing ASMR. Like ages ago. We're talking like almost 8 years at this point ago. But yeah, that's how I started streaming. Was through ASMR. Okay, mic is turned off. We're good there. Is that wide enough? I'm actually genuinely curious if this is actually wide enough for this. My god, it's just barely wide enough. Oh fuck. Oh shit, that's crazy. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move you up here. There you go. I'll show you guys how it's like mounted after this. It is the most cursed fucking mounting thing ever. I just wanted to get it off my lap, because that way we could actually have it off of my lap, and it's just a little bit easier that way. I don't know if I'll be able to, I might be able to do it for my right side actually, and just mount it onto my other HOTAS as well. The only reason why I'm kind of worried about mounting it onto my HOTAS though is because it's right where my joystick is, and I don't want to have anything in the way of my joystick. My throttle, I can do that just fine. That's okay. But my joystick is going to be a different story entirely. Because that is where issues have. I have an idea of what I want to program. I don't forget the second again. I have an idea of what I want to program, but I forgot the second after it again. I mean, to be fair, programming is one of those things where if you have an idea, you can just start with whatever like you remember about it, and you'll probably end up getting to the point of like what you originally had for your idea anyways. So it's like, it's not too bad. Because forgetting stuff does just happen at times. Which is fine. More than okay. Yeah, okay. Lights though. It's one of those ones where it definitely is going to be interesting to set all this up consistently. Maybe I could set it up where it like uses this side, and that way it's out of the way, but then that's probably not going to reach over to my face. You know, I'll have to see what like the different locations are and like what they would work. Because like right now, what my biggest issue here is that like as it stands at the moment, my hand is actually hitting the stand that has my mic on it, or my all my stuff on it. So like it's because it's like right next to my keyboard, or like on my keyboard in some places. So like I need to go through and figure out the way to get around that, so it's no longer on my keyboard. The only problem with that though is that it also means that I need to go through and adjust a bunch of stuff. It's just like don't like adjusting things. Hey, don't take me out of my fourth, please and thank you. I'd like to stick with my fourth, please. Thank you. But yeah, this is some of the behind the scenes stuff that we deal with. It's not the end of the universe though. It's not that hard. It's just annoying. Yellow! Hi dude. Dude is right there and gonna die instantly. Yellow. Thank you for the arcane. I appreciate it. I'll be taking that arcane and using that for everything else that will actually be kind of nice. Appreciate it. Because I actually do need more phosphor, which we can probably end up getting like, I don't know, like 500 different phosphor or something. It should be okay. Should be a-okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, hold on. I do need to make sure that we're not actually going to be like... Yeah, just make... Wait, what the fuck? Oh, there's something down there. Okay, cool. Oh, is it one of the thingies that you get for your standing? Is that what's down there? It probably is what that is, actually. Yeah, it's like 80 meters down there. Also, are we going to actually end up down there? Or is this not going to... Hold on, can you collapse, please? Yeah, okay, yeah, we are actually going to end up down there. I was curious if that was actually going to collapse or not. But I guess it's only after the first stage, or the first round, and then we collapse into the ground over down this way. Yeah. And then the items over there for a big pizza. Perfect. More pizza, the better. Man, I really do, like, kind of miss doing these missions though, like the defense missions here, because like back when we ran these, we got these done in like a day. A lot of these like the parts that we can get for the temple grind, it takes you maybe like an hour or two to get actually all the parts for the temple grind, so there isn't really a reason for you to run through the temple grind again, unless you absolutely want to make sure that you can get a bunch of arcanes out of it. But there are faster ways to get arcanes than to just do the temple grind, unfortunately. So you can just go through and just get them through other means, which is pain, but whatever, it's okay. It is a-okay. Also, I was doing a bit of think thunk and I was trying to figure out exactly how many arcanes we could get, and as long as we get 1,000 phosphor, we have enough for... so I think it's like 1,000 phosphor is going to be 5 arcanes, or 5 packs of arcanes that we can get. So I think it's like 15 arcanes total that we'll get out of it, so it's actually not too bad. But also, we just need to get even more phosphor. Which honestly would require us to do Descendia, though I don't know if there's... Does Descendia this week still have its, like, does it still have the really, really good loot room? Because if it has a good loot room, I might go run that later. To a degree. Just so we can actually get even more, stuff. Granted, next week might actually be even better, though, so, like, I'm not sure. No? Ah, bullshit. Actual bullshit. Fine, whatever. Just gonna take our loot rooms away. Oh, it changes every week. Yeah, I know. That's why I was asking this week. I guess next week might have one. There's a chance for it. There's a chance for next week to have one. Though, if that's actually the case, I have no idea. Oh my god. Because it's completely random, isn't it? Or is it actually scheduled? Which, if it's scheduled, data miners are going to find that schedule, like, ASAP. Because that is one of the best, unironically, like, one of the best farms for it. Because every half hour you get, like, 60 arcanes, almost. About. for the grind that you do. It's about half an hour for 60 arcanes, which I know doesn't seem like a feasible thing that you can do in this game, but yes, it is definitely something that you can do very easily. There we go. Only real downside is that you end up going through and burning through your phosphor really quick because end up using it for other things, which is unfortunate, but yes, welcome to life. Welcome to bullshit. We fucked up. Ooh, topaz shard. Nice. I'll take that. I think it's random. I haven't noticed any patterns yet. No, that's what I mean by like data miners and stuff, is because they'll probably find the patterns. If anything, they will find them. It's because data miners are the ones that go through and actually find all that stuff. Oh, you can be... What? There you go. Got you. Let's move you over here. Get that wire off my keyboard so I've actually got a clean keyboard to actually get things done. Be perfect. What? We actually have to go kill a tank? Oh, god damn it. Oh, you have a modular transducer? Or do you mean like you forgot to grab it? Because Steve also has one right now as well. He has a year's worth of modular transducer just sitting in his account. Homie is like set for that. That's why whenever I do certain grinds, I always try to get Steve with me, because that way we actually have we always have a modular transducer going, at least like whenever we're doing like longer grinds and stuff, which does actually increase the chances of getting a lot of items. Mostly arcanes, but that's usually what we're looking for anyways, is the arcanes for it. There we go. Which I'd imagine does actually affect Descendia to a degree, doesn't it? Like where the arcanes actually get an increased chance of dropping in Descendia through the crits and stuff. If you are, not the arcanes, but the Mafika is what we're looking for. I think, right? Unless I'm going crazy, in which case GG's, I guess. So I'm pretty sure it does actually affect Mafika drops. Unless it's just the mod or resource drop booster, which also could be that as well. Which wouldn't be too bad, honestly. I'm so glad that this does not they didn't actually go through and like reduce our fucking energy this today or this time, because imagine they went through and actually reduced our energy even further. That'd be nuts. Like there is actually a thing here in terms of like EDA and ETA where they actually go through and nerf your energy input and output and stuff. It's pretty bad. As well as your total energy capacity that you can pick up as well, which is another one, which is like its own entire situation in its own right. Also, just playing Snake for this is great. Got it. All right, hand us the thingies. Hand it to us. Oh, that's like an actual dropship. Oh shit, that's actually really cool. I didn't think that they actually had like a proper like actual ship. That's so cool. Or like a actual like AC-130 kind of thing. That's actually really cool. That's my bad for not realizing that they actually had AC-130s in this game. Oops. Snake.io? Yeah, Snake. Oh god, not Snake.io. Snake.io is a whole ass situation in its own right. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Maru, you can't shoot that. That doesn't work. Not with that. You can't shoot it with that. You gotta go through and use this. If you're gonna shoot it, you gotta use an RPG. You're doing 1 damage a bullet? How the hell are you doing 1 damage a bullet? I'm not even doing 1. I'm doing 0. How the hell are you pulling off 1? What? Oh, is it because of your void damage? It could be because of void damage. I would not be surprised if that's the case. But yeah, this is what you hit it with. 87 million damage, 85 million damage. Yeah, it's got a lot of health. It has a lot of health. Oh, I can just rest myself. Don't worry about that. Oh, okay. I guess I'm rezzed. Thank you. Appreciate it. You'd probably be there for like 9 hours if you tried to do that like the proper way, by the way. Just heads up. Probably longer, actually. If I'm thinking about it right now. Probably longer. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. No. No, I kind of wish that we could... Oh, God, I gotta figure it out. No, I can't even increase the ammo capacity on this because if I do, it removes the mods. And I need those. Shit. That's my bad. God damn it. I was hoping that I could go through and do the ammo capacity, but nope. Not a thing. Until next year? Oh, yeah, but like we're not gonna worry about that. Until next week. Though, honestly, it's going to be resetting tomorrow, so we should be able to have a decent amount that we can get out of it tomorrow. Which would be more than okay. Not in a bad way, it's just going to be really fucking annoying. Because, like, next week is probably going to be even worse than this week. Maybe. There's potential for it. Also, this is the last wall before we do the boss, by the way. Yeah, this is the last wall before we do the boss. Hello, AC-130, or whatever you're called. Hello. I don't know what that is, but yes. It's probably close to an AC-130 or something. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. The one thing I am kind of curious about is like... Oh, there's the drops. There's the drops. There we go. There we go. That's the drops right there. Oh, they're dropping enemies. Oh, I see. I get it now. I get it now. I see the vision. I thought the enemies were like these like balloons themselves, but I guess not. It's just how you drop all the enemies into it. Yeah, no worries. We'll talk to you later, Vader. Do what you gotta do. Paratroopers. Yeah. That's my bad for not realizing that they're paratroopers. Like entirely my bad. Okay, I'm just gonna like go back into my fourth ability here. I don't want to like die to do something stupid. Pixie form is mine. Was that not enough? I swear to God that should have been enough. Oh, one more? Come on. One more. No, okay. Never mind. Really? Interesting. They've decided to live today. This is problematic. Oh, there's one up here there. There's one over. Oh, you're already grabbing it. Come on. Just one more to go. What? Is that not enough? What? Game. Let's through. Okay, now we're good. Now we can go through and fight the boss. Alright, cool. We're making progress, kind of. That was a lot of us. Like, that door was a lot stronger than the previous one. Like, considerably stronger. Which I know it sounds weird to say, but yes, it was actually like 4 to 5 times stronger than the original one. Which is weird, but we're doing good. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. These guys right here. I thought these were like, I thought the Sculpture Harbingers were the ones that they were dropping down, and that's how we got the RPGs. Turns out I stand heavily corrected though. And it's not actually the Sculpture Harbingers that do it. What? Oh, I guess that's just the part that we can shoot. Okay. Cool. I guess I'll take it that way. God, I'm so glad that this boss is not as hard to beat as I thought it was going to be. Like, ages ago when we first came into this boss, by the way, like, I could barely do anything against them. Nowadays, I can do a lot more. But, like, ages ago, I couldn't do anything against them because I straight up wasn't even close to strong enough to fight them. But now it's more of just a matter of, I can't even hurt them using my Warframe because my Warframe is untouchable. Which is unfortunate, but yes. Or they're untouchable from my Warframe, more accurately. Alright, gonna go over here. I might just focus on killing the dudes, actually. That might work out in my favor a little bit more. Because that way we can get the RPGs and stuff. Eventually, once we get past the first stage here, I'll be able to actually hurt them with using my exalted weapons and stuff. It's just that in the first stage, they're actually immune to the exalted weapons, which is, to say the least, less than ideal. Because, like, you know, it's not great, but welcome to the boss's main abilities and stuff, where they're just immune to everything that apparently can hurt them. Which is so sad, because it'd be nice if we could actually do problems, but no, they decided otherwise. But whatever, it's fine. Kanno worms indeed. There we go, now I can actually do damage. I don't think I'm going to be able to actually do any damage though, outside of just taking out the individual spots on them that's like weakened positions. Oh, I'm shooting its legs. That's what I'm doing. Alright, cool. We're good. Shooting its legs out. Though I would like to point out that using the RPGs is still much faster because, well, you know, it's an RPG. So, like, if we can get the RPGs, it probably would be better, but not gonna worry about it too much. There you go. Though, oh no, I still need to do the weekly tech rot missions and stuff. God damn it. My bad. I'm gonna hit you with the weakest weapon I currently have, apparently, which is a thing, I guess. Kind of nice that you can actually hit them with that, though. Zada's Whisper makes it a little easier. Oh, got it. And they're going to call a bunch of enemies and stuff, and I'll just have to kill them. As per the usual. They're immortal! Also, guys, you want to see the funniest thing ever I figured out? So, if you actually switch into your operator and boost yourself out of the arena with your operator, you can actually stay outside of the arena using your operator. It's actually pretty cool. The problem is that they're gonna have to patch that like immediately, like whenever they get a chance to, because yeah, that should not be a thing that we can just do. Like in any capacity, that should not be something we can just do. Also, did that fucker just heal? Did they just fucking heal? I swear to God. Yeah, they just healed. The hell, man? You're not supposed to heal. Allegedly? Ah, yes, allegedly. It heals the tank. So how do we get them down a stage then? Because we need to get them down a stage so we can actually... Oh, I see, it's a DPS check. Never mind, I get it. It's another ETA thing? Oh god. Alright, fine, whatever, I guess. We're just suffering because ETA over here is just trying to, like, destroy us. Fine, whatever. Okay, there's a bit there that we can destroy, a bit up there that we can destroy. This is why I actually highlight the enemies and stuff, so that we can actually see them going through and actually getting things on them that we can use to find and destroy everything. So, are they being healed again? They shouldn't be being healed again, right? Nope, they still got something else there. That should be everything, I believe. Yes, that should be all of it. So we should be able to go through and actually just leave it there. For now, at least. Yeah. Alright. They healed? Kind of. I guess they just have their invulnerability state. Yeah, I know. I can't do anything against this tank using my Titania. I'm a little bit more than... Oh, no! It's because we're not actually supposed to hit the parts. We're supposed to go take out those individual thingies on the side of them. That's why. That's why. We're not actually supposed to go fight their health bar. We're supposed to just take out everything that's on the side of them. Okay, I get it now. I see the vision. I see the vision. Though, honestly, it's not much of a vision. It is a vision, though. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Dude is now dead. Give me the arcane. Give me the arcane. Give me the arcane. Give it to me. Give me... There you go. I just want an arcane. Whenever I get a chance to, always arcanes. Every day. All day. Always the arcanes. Holy shit. More than that we can get, the better. Oh my god, we still need to go through and farm out a crap ton of Stella too. Add that to our list of things that we need to do. Because like, I need to get to a point where like I have like 50 bajillion Stella just for the pure fact of I need it to survive. So I can go through and continue resetting everything to the best of my ability. Ow! Fuck! That hurts. Just a little bit. Nope. Spin. I did not get a single Archon shard. Wait, you didn't get a single Archon shard from that, actually? Damn. I mean, to be fair, I got one, so I guess our luck from that is, like, super unlucky, but, like, it's not too bad. Could be worse. Could be considerably worse. Also, if that's a regular interaction, I swear to fuck, man. That's crazy. That is actually kind of insane because, like, that being a regular interaction should not be the case, like, in any capacity. Actually, could I just do this instead? I could 100% do that instead. Okay. Hold up. Give me a second here. What up? Aha! It's even more cursed. It's even more cursed than before, but whatever, it's fine. We can live with that. Hold on. Yeah, moving it there would be a bad idea. But this one we could move over here to fit like right here, I believe. And that would be fine. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna do some readjustments to my setup really quick. Give me like 2 seconds here. Because I'm readjusting the angle at which everything works here. Because it should be more than okay if I just do it the correct way here. I guess it just does simply get enough normal skill path. Oh yeah, it's just more of those one of those ones where if you're never noticing it, it's fine. Because like that boss specifically, farming it is something that like you don't have to farm. It's actually one of the few bosses in the games that you don't have to farm. Outside of EDA and ETA at least. Because EDA and ETA does require that you go farm it, but we're not going to get into that right now because that's unrelated. For the most part, it is unrelated. If I set this down onto my lap for a second though, I should be able to go through and get this into here. Aha! Okay, first step up. First step done. Second step done. Third step. And that should be okay-ish, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that should be fine. Uber version or Uber version? Oh, you're talking about like the special version that's like insanely difficult to kill because it's like everywhere but where you need it to be. Yeah, that version is a pain in the ass to deal with, and I refuse to ever deal with it, by the way. Like, just straight up. Like, no. I have zero interest. It is not ideal. That would actually work really well, but I need to figure out a... Would it be better if I moved it closer then? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the logistics of something real quick. And I'm thinking that that's fine, but that's off to the side a little bit, and I don't know if that's gonna end up causing issues with my tracking and stuff. I guess it's not that bad, actually. Could be worse. The only real issue here now is that I've got this in the way, which I can just get this out of there. I could just move this to be these wires out of the way here, and then move this guy over down this way, lead that down here, wrap that around here just a couple times because that should be fine. And that way, I don't need to care about that being a problem. And ba-bam. Okay, wire's clean there. So now what I need to do is I need to do the other wire. This one should be fine like right here. Yeah, that should be fine here. And that way I've got this here. Alright, cool. Yep, we're good now. I think. Yeah, we're good. Alright, what are we gonna do now? Because like now I gotta go figure out exactly what we're gonna do. Also, by the way, my biggest thing isn't actually getting the Omniform blueprints. My biggest issue is actually unironically getting the Netane for it. Which I know is weird to say, but I need so much Netane for this. Which we're gonna be able to get when the thingy resets in 3 days. But like, yeah, the amount of Netane that we get out of that is like crazy. Actually insane. Boss from Demos dropped Netane? Which boss? Which boss from Demos? Because it very much matters which boss you're talking about, because if it's what I think it is, I'm not touching that, homie. Like, I refuse to touch that. With like anything like anything. I don't want to touch that. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I'm not touching that guy. Yeah, that's called Prelate. Prelate is known as one of the worst bosses in Warframe. Just very easily one of the worst bosses in Warframe. And it's not because Prelate is a hard boss, it's because the Zealot Prelate is a very annoying boss to beat, and that's why people don't like fighting him. Oh yeah, no, that's why, like, if the drop chances on something are like non-existent to a point where it's like it's known as being abysmal, I'd rather just like, I'm gonna farm it through other means, homie, not through that, because I kind of refuse to. Mainly just because I don't have the patience for it, but yeah. To be fair, me saying that after having just finished a 2.5-hour long mission, I know is weird, but you're gonna have to bear with me on that one. I think the ghoul bounties have better chances. Yeah, the ghoul bounties are also not the greatest for that though, unfortunately. As it stands specifically, all those kind of bounties that you guys see for like the ghouls and like other things like that are not ideal. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get this working a little bit. Because I think I just found a way to do this in a way that will make it work really well. What do you mean you opened Apex? No hotshot? Actually? Well, no, it's because it's like a 17%, it's like an 8% chance of getting them out of the packs and stuff, so it's not a very common thing that you'll be able to get it. It's not a common thing at all. Farm enough for a trap account and attain requirements. I feel like the Omniforma are enough of a trap on account for Natane requirements to the point I kind of just stopped building mine. Better not eat the flat. Oh yeah, it's because Natane are, so specifically speaking, when we start talking about Omniforma and stuff, the reason why I'm building mine is because I know how to do it in a way that won't be really annoying. And also I have like close to 200 regular Forma in my inventory due to a very specific dude that came by a while back and gave me like, or actually 2 people that gave me like, I think it was like 75 total Forma, like total Forma, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like 75 total Forma. Which they had decided was the play that day, apparently. Which, funny, mind you, but also not ideal. That's a lot of fucking Forma. But then again, they do them, I guess? I don't know. Ah! Hold up. Sorry. I just figured out a better way to organize this. Yeah, no, it's fine. Why the fuck are you going and taking a break to go play League? You might as well go like fucking jump in a pile of shit at that point, my guy. That'd be more effective. Like, I love the game, but holy shit, man, are they toxic over there. Jesus. Like, I love League, I just don't play it because, well, it's toxic as shit. Oh my gosh. What? What do you mean I get it? What? No, I don't get it. I don't understand the League. Or the need to go play League. Wah! Sorry, I'm like actively trying to screw a bunch of stuff in right now. In the background here. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That actually somewhat actually works. Wait, actually, is that gonna work better? Yeah, I think that works actually. Hold on. Maybe Honest is a bit taken aback by the number 200. What do you mean by 200? What? What, Forma? Homie, this is endgame Warframe. Like, when it comes to Forma, 200 Forma is not a lot of Forma in endgame. You can burn through that, like, relatively easily. And I already have, actually. I've burnt through, I think, about 60 of it. Granted, I'm also kind of a bit built different when it comes to burning through Forma, so, like, don't worry about that. Just ignore my Forma habits. Those, don't actually matter. Too much. There you go. Okay, cool. Now we got that organized. Now I can go through here. I don't think I'll be able to do it that way, but if I go across here, okay, hold on. I got an idea. So if I do that, wrap that wire around here, get it to wrap around here a little bit, and then I can do that. Yeah, that works. What? For frame, yeah, but not for weapon. Oh, no, it's pretty much the same. For whether that be for weapon or for warframe, it's effectively the same. They're all pretty, intense. Somehow got 9 Omniformer from just drops and stuff like... Well, yeah, no, that works out. Yeah, you usually do. It's just that, well, I do understand that you guys go through and say like, oh yeah, Omniforma's a lot. Here's 1 warframe fully done, and with Omniforma. Here's 2 warframes fully done with Omniforma. Here's a weapon almost entirely done with Omniforma. Actually, that's not my only weapon. Actually, here's my other weapon that's almost entirely done with Omniforma. Like, well, I do understand that Omniforma is one of those things where like a lot of people say like, oh yeah, it's hard to get and all this stuff. It's not really that hard if you really think about it. Just due to, well, you know, it's an Omniforma. You're gonna get it relatively easily. Also, I gotta reset my tracking again. Sorry, my bad. Dun, 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 dun. You know, me forgetting to go replug stuff in and then forgetting to go through and actually turn shit on is gonna be like fucking... At this point, it's gonna become a part of my brand eventually, because I swear to God, it's happened so much. Where's the gift? But yeah, they kind of just spend easy once you get into the habit of like putting 2 to 5 form on everything. Yeah, like oh yeah. It's you can go through and do a lot with it. It's not like some kind of like crazy stuff. Also, you might be surprised by this, but that amount of forma isn't actually a lot of plat. It comes out to being about 2,000 or just under it. And I know that sounds like a lot of plat to those who aren't at the end game, but at the end game, it does actually come out to being as not as much as you might be thinking. Because, well, you know, it's just how things are. Alright. Okay, testing. Okay, so I can get closer. Hey, throw that away. Okay. Wait, does that? Yeah, it does work. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry, I went through and actually set up a thing so I could actually, like, have these working. I gotta figure out how to get it working. I gotta figure out at some point how to get it working with my tracking and stuff, but it should be fine. It should be okay. And while I might sound like I'm far away, I'm actually not that far away. It's actually closer than my normal mic. Which is weird to say. Hold on, let me get my Akicorn stuff ready. Actually, no, you know, let's go grab my RB builds real quick. We're gonna do this with my RBs. RB builds! Also, you guys wanna see something nuts? Hold on, so, I was introduced to this yesterday. This is the hardest enemy grouping in the game to actually fight. Like, objectively speaking, this is the hardest enemy grouping in the game to fight. They basically go through and buff each other and then, like, give you an even, like, make it, like, almost impossible to do any damage and stuff, to them. And so this is actually harder than level cap. And the thing about that is that when you're going to go through and use Sarin Sobex, like the Sobek acid shells and stuff, just be fair warned that the acid shells themselves do not care about armor, nor do they care about anything else. In the sense of they do actually get affected by armor, but they still 100% just burn through everything. Keep in mind that this is going to take a bit to do, because almost any build that you do will actually require a setup like this. Which is less than ideal, but welcome to life, I guess. Come on. Just die already. My Jesus Christ, my dude. Just die, please. There we go. And babap. And there goes the entire group. That's why I love this is why you're seeing everything die and all the numbers going everywhere, is because it's able to kill everything after you get that first kill. It's able to destroy everything. Which is why level cap is so easy to do with these kind of builds, is because if you can just go kill one, you can kill them all. That's all you need. It's just the one kill. The singular kill that's necessary for this. There you go. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I would go through and grind out even more of these balls, but we already have like 80 of them in here. I'm being literal here. We actually do have 80 of them in here. We ended up doing a bit of grinding and doubled the amount of beach balls that we have. I want to go through and get like another like 30 or 40 of them just so I can throw a bunch of them into the ball pit. Like this one over here, because we do actually have a ball pit here. But I need to go get even more balls so I can throw even more balls into the ball pit and stuff. Though I might end up moving a couple of the ones that are over here, I think. Yeah, the ones up here, I might move a little bit, like just a couple of these guys up here. And just that ball pit down there, because that might actually be worth it for me. Also, I think I already have everything for Boa Couture, I think. What do you need? An intervention? No. Bro, you know what I need? More balls. I don't need a fucking intervention, I need more balls. That's what I need. So like, while I do understand that interventions are a thing, nah, I need more balls. That's what I need. That and Roombas. I need more Roombas too. Because the Roombas are fantastic. The more I can get, the better. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, Boa Couture actually has a crap ton of primed mods this time. So if you're looking for any primed mods, make sure you grab the ones that are from Boa. There's some actually really good ones there, which I would highly recommend grabbing. God damn it, I don't need that. Stop giving me the useless shit, Boa. You're being useless again. Stop it. What do you mean I'm too obsessed with balls? No. So hear me out real quick. If you had the option to have a massive ass ball pit, just hang out, you'd be doing the same. Because they're pretty cool. I fucking love my ball pits, man. You can't go out of here. You can't just say that I'm obsessed with balls and then just like come over here and like be mean. What the fuck, man? Because ball pits are awesome. Nothing better. There you go. But yeah. I still need to go through and oh god, it's because like I don't want to do the weeklies. I'm waiting until next week to do all the weeklies and stuff because like I've been trying to avoid doing these because I don't want to do these like at all. They're so annoying. Specifically speaking, this wager one is actually really like annoying and stuff. Ooh, nice. It's actually pretty good to see. Going through and grabbing your void. Make sure you go through and grab the stuff for the other one. I can't remember the name for the other one, but there's another one there that you can go grab. Just make sure you don't forget about it because it is actually pretty nice to grab. If you can, that is. God, this grind for the Steinax grind was hell. This was a very slow grind. Out of all the grinds we could have done, this is probably one of our slowest ones. Which is so bad, but also not the end of the universe either. Okay, but what I am going to do though, is since I am actually working towards getting all my stuff set up for all my other stuffs, is I'm going to go and stream now. And then I'm going to go and actually go through and get everything else working behind the scenes. Because I do want to go through and get out of my way to get everything working for tonight. And then run a test stream tonight to make sure that this actually does work. And if we can get the audio working for this to make it so that there's no actual background noise, or at least minimal background noise, we'll be chilling. The problem is that I don't know if that'll end up happening, unfortunately. As much as I wish that wasn't the case, I don't think it'll end up happening. Which is so sad, but it's okay. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'll see you guys Monday. Okay, guys? Hopefully Monday isn't going to be too chaotic, though. I don't think, at least. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'm probably going to end up ranting about what I'm doing in the Discord, by the way. Just so you guys can, like, know what updates and stuff I'm going on with. But we'll see what happens, okay? But yeah, good night, guys. And ta-da! Make sure you guys get some sleep, too, okay? Because, my god, sleep is important.